All right, so we're gonna start off with a twofer about the anime man of all people, right? So we're gonna start with one. Japan hates him, and then we're gonna move on to the anime man situation is very concerning, because it seems like from what I'm told, this one is anime man bad, and this one is anime man is actually all right, which is a funny dichotomy, right? So let's see what we got here. Should get a pretty good length out of the length of video out of this, like 19 minutes here and then 11 minutes here. I am a bit of a yapper, not on Keen's level, but I should be able to get something out of this, right? All right.
Trash Taste Podcast. You know, you got Gig
Oh, wait, is this the one where they were like going ill at is this the one where they were like going ill at like the anime figures and stuff?
There we go.
And Joey the Anime Man. And this controversy specifically involves Joey the Anime Man. We'll play the clip. It's about a minute and a half long, and you can see that there's subtitles on here, Japanese subtitles.
No, but
because,
I
again,
mean, is
this has
that
been going
the
around
same
Japan,
podcast?
And
Yeah, Joey the Anime Man is a strange and enigmatic figure, to be perfectly honest. I still don't really know why he puts up with his fellow Trash Taste members not being able to speak Japanese when they live in Japan. There seems to be a really recurring problem too among like people who go to live in Japan. So oftentimes like Westerners will like form their own little enclaves and never actually learn how to speak the native fucking language. Now my excuse for never learning the language is I don't have anyone I can actually practice with, right? And I don't really have the time. I would love to, but there's only so much Duolingo can actually do for you, right? I'm getting closer to knowing how to cut Denoise the Black Cathedral into a decent length. If I was to ever make a AIMV form of it, that's entirely fair. You know what? Actually, I'll probably do a video at some point showing the actual style prompt. I'd have to refine which exact pieces because I generated a lot of different like segments that I had to then pick between because it fought me the entire way. But I could probably find the style prompts and make a video just like showing what the style prompts were. But you know, that might actually help if you want to like make your own version of the song too. Because if you give the AI the same prompt, it will still produce something very different, right? But I'd have to look into it. Because I'd have to do a lot of digging. But let's see. Joey's earlier vids are good. Recently, yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. Joey was always hit and miss for me, to be perfectly honest.
then we'll take a look at what Japanese people are saying about it.
Like, why is like so many anime set in high school? Why is that? Like,
This is okay. This is really easy to answer. Why are there so many anime set in high school? Like there's an obvious answer to this, which is look at the demographic of the show that you're actually watching, right? And I know people like to call these genres in the West for some reason. They're not genres. The demographics: shonen, shoujo, josei, seinen. They tell you what those literally tell you what the demographic of the audience target is, right? A shonen anime is aimed at boys and young men. Literally, a shonen is like a boy between the ages, if I remember correctly, of like 8 and 19 or something like that, right? Shoujo is a girl between the ages of 7 and 18. You want to guess what the demographic that's the target there is, right? You know, people younger than that, or if I remember correctly, the word was like Kodomo, right? And yeah, right. So it's like that tells you it's a show for young children, right? And then you get seinen is a male older than a shonen, and then josei is a woman older than a shoujo, right? So it tells you the target demographic. You want to know what the age range for a lot of this stuff is? Well, it turns out a lot of anime is made for like again teenagers, right? So it's like what was it? School, or was it a particular kind of school?
Are saying about it.
Like, why is like so many anime set in high school? Why is that?
What do you think the majority of people watching the anime are, right? Also, even then, it's like It's not even just that too. It's like a lot of people, obviously most people who are like older still remember their childhood at least in some way, right? And yes, so it means that like yes, they can actually relate to people who are younger than them because they've literally been there before, right? So it is an easy target demographic to hit that gets you a wide net of consumers, and it seems to work, right? Hold on. And most anime is aimed at school-age kids. Yeah. So you made 2 songs with it. Let's see. It seems for me to me for a 3-parter. Have yet to DL it yet. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was talking about using the DMs. Okay, not the DMs, but the chat.
Like, is that a cultural thing?
Yeah, it's a cultural thing.
Why?
There is also, and I don't know if they bring this up, but the Japanese are definitely fascinated with youth in the opposite way that the Chinese are fascinated with the ancient, right? Like, you could very well say that a lot of China is motivated by the cult of the old, right? In fact, one of the most well-respected teachers is called the Lao Tzu, right? Literally the old teacher, right? Lao, guess what? Lao was not the guy's name, but it's a signifier of his status that he is the old or the ancient teacher, right? Whereas in Japan, there's this fascination with kawaii. Kawaii, you know, being cuteness. And you want to know what's associated with cuteness? Youth. So it's, this is not exactly that hard to explain. This is pretty fucking obvious surface level stuff. China love the immortals, yes, and the immortals are usually depicted as elderly, right? Because, again, there's a reverence for the ancient in China.
It's because when the character is young like that, it's easier to relate to them. It's easier to relate to them for a wider amount of people because people who are older can also relate to them. And on top of that, that period of...
It's as if we were all children at one point. Fucking Julio, absolutely on point there, right?
That period of your life, like, you know, 15 to 25, like that kind of range of life is like really when you start to form as a person. And that's kind of when...
Yearling wouldn't have won against Wukong if it wasn't for Lao Tzu, right? Journey to the West is a fucking weird story. Like, it's fun, but it's all slapstick comedy, to be perfectly honest, right? You can't read you cannot read out loud the section where Monkey is fucking running with a Taoist wizard on his back. The Taoist wizard drops a mountain, and he just shoulders the mountain, and he keeps running, and he drops another mountain on him, and he shoulders the other mountain on the other shoulder, and then he drops a third one, and it just fucking beans him on the back of the head, and it just like causes him to fall. Totally slaps it, fucking Larry Curly Moe shit right there, to be perfectly honest, right? Yes, there is a lot of... But yes, Monkey is a bit of a badass at his own story, even when he is nerfed, it seems.
You can have these events that kind of, again, they shape who you are, right? So you face these trials during that time.
Oh yeah, there's a reason Journey to the West is absolutely beloved around the world, right?
That kind of inform as to like what the struggles that people can relate to, right? So that's kind of why I think it's really just like it's the age of adventure. It's the age where like you're figuring things out. It's the age where you're facing you start to face life issues, having to deal with other people, having to deal with opposition, right? That's it. That's really it. It's not really that complicated, to be honest.
Why so?
I might be a little bit cynical, but I have a sneaking suspicion just the wider net is probably the actual answer, right? Obviously, you have a target demographic that is going to buy your is going to buy your stuff, right? But you also want to net as many customers as possible, and I do think that that's a large part of it. But you know, I digress. That would be my guess. Is the primary reason is mostly a market-driven one, but that doesn't delegitimize it. It just points out that, like, again, if this is so popular by the market, you know, there's a demand for it. There's a demand for it for a reason, right?
It's because it's, for a lot of people, like high school is kind of seen as like this basically like golden time.
Who the fuck thinks high school is their golden time? What the fuck is this? I don't think I've ever heard anyone in like real life say that like high school is like the best time of their life.
Right.
That, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really fucking depressing.
It's like for a lot of people, high school is like, you know,
That's not why I like it. That's not why I like it. What the fuck?
the whole thing of like
What
in the
the
West of like high
fuck?
school is like, you know, usually movies that are based in high school in
Yeah.
the West are based off bad memories.
Yeah.
You know, being like, oh man, my high school fucking sucked, blah blah blah, all the
Bruh.
shit people, the jocks, the bullies, blah blah blah. Right, that's the norm in the West. In Japan, it's glorified because to a lot of people, high school was a really fun time with like friends they'll never get back, and like
Yeah.
because it's also the last years.
I don't know how much I believe this shooties, right? A lot of shooties. Hello, Spartan Bot. A little peaking in high school is what we used to call that, and it was an insult. Yeah, right. But oh my goodness. This is such a weird conclusion. I don't even know that this is even. I don't know if like Joey grew up in Japan or anything like that, and I can't exactly speak as if I know anything about growing up in Japan. Didn't grow up in Japan, but I highly doubt that this is actually the reason. Right? There is also the thing where it's like there are certain constraints that many anime have and manga stories have had, from what I am told, I could be wrong, in regards to, like, again, promoting specific values, right? Or not promoting specific values, right? And education happens to be one of those values, so it's like, again, another potential incentive to have something take place in a school or school adjacent or school relevant setting. Even fucking Inuyasha, right? It's like, yeah, it didn't take place in a school setting, but a school setting was like, it was the tension between having to do your duty in the one hand and then having to do your duty in the other hand, with one duty being your duty to your family to be educated, and the other duty being the duty to, again, the people around you to fulfill the function that she has as, you know, the reincarnation of Lady Kikyo, you know, and being the one who set into motion the whole clusterfuck of, you know, the Shikon jewel being shattered into a million pieces. It's scattered across Japan. It's like, it's that interplay between those two separate duties that you have. You have to complete both, and how exactly do you complete both when they seem to be at odds with each other, right? Hell, this is even addressed in fucking Witch, even in like Western anime-inspired shows. They even have this problem, right? In Witch, you have that exact problem where it's like, yeah, we can have the astral drops take our place, but it's like the astral drops are fucking incompetent, and just because they do it doesn't mean you've actually done it, right? So there are actually drawbacks to using the astral drops, not to mention when they gain sentience like a fucking AI, right? But see, high school was okay, but nothing to write home about. Exactly, right?
This actually doesn't. This doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Leaflet. This does not make any sense to me. This seems like someone trying to come up with a reason that makes sense to them, and then just completely misunderstanding the people around them.
Maybe it is for some people. But like, I almost feel like another reason why it could be so popular, and I guess this is from my point of view as a nerd, right? Like anime, like let's face it, anime was for nerds. That's all of the nerds were into anime. The cool people weren't into anime. It's a very recent thing that cool people can be into anime. But anyway, I think actually it could be quite the opposite, in that maybe people like it because their high school life sucked and they kind of want to relive it through it vicariously.
Hello, Raw. Hello, Mind of Raw. We're listening to the anime man make a fool of himself, it seems, before he may or may not make up for being a fool in the next video. So I'm recording a 2-for-1 right now.
To another character, and then like be like, wow, like it would have been awesome if I had powers or something like that. Or if I was like, you know, if I can self-insert myself into like this main character, then you can kind of experience it through them.
Of that person being,
You know?
young and free.
I mean, I liked high school, but I wouldn't say I got regrets going. the new season.
Oh,
That was
yeah?
good. That was good. Very refreshing.
Yeah.
Depressing as always.
Depressing as fuck, yes.
Which is great to see because it's like one of the only anime out there that will actually like commentate on adult life in Japan and be realistic. about
Yeah,
it, too.
but
There's a lot,
it
actually,
also
that do
says
that.
a lot when.
What do you mean? There's
no one
there's a
knows
ton there's a ton of anime that are about adult life. What's happening?
Okay, so I think Leaflet misheard what fucking, I'm blanking on the name here. Connor. I was like, I'm blanking on the name here. This is really embarrassing. I think Leaflet misheard what he was saying because he didn't say commentate on adult life. I think if we go back, I think he said realistic, and I don't know if I like that description, but let's be fair.
I liked high school, but I wouldn't say that. Agretzko, the new season.
Oh,
That was
yeah?
good. That was good. Very refreshing.
Yeah.
Depressing as always.
Depressing as fuck, yes.
Which is great to see because it's like one of the only anime out there that will actually like commentate on adult life in Japan and be realistic about
Yeah.
it, too.
There it is, and be realistic about it. Again, I think Leaflet missed this part, but I also don't necessarily agree. First of all, this assumes that like all of Japan is like one thing, and it's not, right? It's like even in Japan, it's like you have different regional cultures and different regional like living satisfactions and dissatisfactions, right, for different reasons. I vaguely heard of what all went down. I didn't hear anything about it, so this is all new to me. But yeah, I mean, obviously, work life in Japan can be quite difficult because they actually demand actually, put some actual time and, effort into doing your fucking job. But I'm not entirely sure it's the only one that does it, but it's definitely, if you were to ask me about one, that would probably be the first one that comes to mind. But yeah, I think Leaflet may have misheard what he said.
But
There's a lot,
it
actually.
also
Is his point that manga and anime are based in high school because it's wish fulfillment? For fuck's sake, it's set in high school because the target audience is in high school. There are interviews from mangaka about this that are not all that hard to find. I mean, that's fair, and I even pointed that out. It's like, about I pointed it out too, Spartan, about, again, it's the target demographic, and also it has the added benefit of not just being a good target demographic, but, again, we've all been, presumably if we don't die in childhood, we've all been there, right? So it's like something we can all somewhat relate to, even if we're older, right? So the potential net of customers is actually significantly larger with this particular setting than it might be otherwise. So it makes sense from an economic standpoint to just, like, for these stories to be so popular. But even if that wasn't the case, wish fulfillment is also a thing that is big in anime and manga, right? Not in the sense of like, oh, I wish this would have happened, right? But more in the sense of like exploring what, what if scenario, right? This is actually one of the things that, like, when you understand it, make some of the complaints about the relationships in Cardcaptor Sakura a lot less forceful when you realize it's like, oh, it's not a serious endorsement of any of these things. This is just exploring like the kinds of exploring the kind of things that like may be in a person's head at this age, right? Like, we've all been a child, we've all been we've all had crushes on someone significantly older than us, right? So it's like, again, the whole so the relationship with Rika Sasaki and their teacher in Cardcaptor Sakura, and between Ariel and, again, his teacher, is not exactly an endorsement of student-teacher relationships, right? That's not actually happening in those particular story, in that part of the story, in there, that's just leveraging wish fulfillment of the readership, which is, again, in the case of Cardcaptor Sakura, aimed at the same age range as the characters themselves are, right? So when you realize that, like, again, not everything that happens in anime and manga is an endorsement. Sometimes it is actually just an exploration of like unspoken dreams that just couldn't come true. Then yeah, some of it does make sense, but that's not all manga. Sometimes it is just as simple as, hey, I can relate to this. I can relate to this situation. Sometimes it's wish fulfillment. Sometimes it's not, right? I mean, God, look at Bokurano, right? I don't think any of that is wish fulfillment. And that, a large part of that takes place in school too, right?
says a lot when
I do think this is a large thing of like, it really fucking depends, right? Sometimes it's just story. Exactly, right? And again, the advantage of like starting in a spot where it's like you already know something is that like you don't have to explain everything. Like if I have a story, right, and it's taking place in, let's say, it's taking place on Mars, right? I might have to explain a number of things to make the story make sense. But if I have a story taking place, for example, in Smallville, Kansas, right? I might not have to explain as much because you can already import what you already know about Smallville in Kansas, right? And that right there again makes the high school setting very advantageous for a lot of people, because then you don't necessarily have to go in and explain every little detail. You don't have to concern yourself with the world building as much, because the world building is already implicit in the setting, right? You've already been, especially if you're Japanese, because anime and manga is written for the Japanese. It's not written for a wider audience. That's why we like anime and manga too, right? Is because it is actually written in earnest. It's not written for some global homo nonsense, right? But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so it's like you don't have to get into explaining all the fucking minutia about how everything works in it, right? It's like even Harry Potter got away with this, and like the school system. It did have to explain a little bit about how the school worked because it was again a school of wizards, right? But again, the house system was drawn from a real thing that already existed, so you could import that information into reading the story, and you wouldn't necessarily have to tell all the details of that particular setting because it's implicit in the way it's set up. Let's see. Bupkiss Nowhere USA, right? Courage the Cowardly Dog, starring Courage the Cowardly Dog. Where is it taking place? In the middle of nowhere. It's like, yeah, you know what? I think we can all relate to this too. Everyone experienced high school? Yeah. Let's see, but nothing exciting happens in the city, or so many manga will have you believe. I mean, in a WA-centered society, so it's like a harmony-centered society, I would imagine so. But I would imagine the level of crime, for example, is still higher in the cities than it is in the rural areas in Japan, just like it is everywhere else.
What do you mean? There's a ton of anime that are about adult life. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she misheard him.
Wait, I thought this was an anime podcast.
Oh, you meant the country? I mean, that's fair. Well, there's also the thing of like, why do so many of these take place in the city? Honestly, it does just happen to be with, like, again, most of the customer base is going to be from the city, right? So there's another, again, just purely economic reason. And there's a lot of people who live in the country who want to move to the city. So, and that's not, that's in Japan, that's in America, that's in a lot of places, right? There's also people in the cities who want to move into the country, but I don't know what the percentages are. I don't know whether there's more in the cities who want to move to the country, or the country who want to move to the city. It'd be an interesting study to do. And I have a sneaking suspicion that'll differ between like countries. But so again, like the city thing is again another one of those things where it's like you just based on population, it's just a little bit more advantageous to tell the stories in a city. Sure did append a lot of stuff in Smallville. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It is.
It's so Japanese, but like it's such a good take on the Japanese
it's
work life.
awesome.
How awful it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, it's ironic that this is coming from the same company that, made Hello Kitty.
Not a lot compared to others of adult ones. There's a good amount that are that. Fire Force isn't school.
Okay, yeah. Leaflet is just absolutely focusing on not what he said, right? She is hyper-focusing on a sub-clause, if you will, in what Connor said, but not what he actually is driving at. But she does have a point that, again, there's a lot of them that don't take place in school whatsoever. Again, like Penguin Drum comes to mind. You fucking you get Queen's Blade. You get fucking Scrapped Princess. Like there's a lot of them that don't take place in school at fucking all. Right, You're Under Arrest is like doesn't involve school at all for the most part. Right. Hell, Oban Star Racers involves getting the fuck out of the school setting in the first episode, right? Mostly country to city, and some move back. Okay, I'd have to see some numbers. I suspect that's the case, but I'd actually have to see an empirical study on some of this.
Not school. Not school. I don't know about this one. Oh, this is a school. This one's school. Not school, not school. School, school. Not school.
Another one that's not school is, like, if I remember correctly, Godzilla Singular Point, where the main, the female protagonist is in college, but she doesn't go to college at all except for one lecture, which is not actually a college lecture. It's a lecture among experts who are already credentialed, right? So even then, it's even when the character is going to school, it may not involve the school at all for the most part. Like, again, how often does Kagome actually go to school in Inuyasha? Right? Very fucking rarely. There's a subplot about, like, how her family has to keep making up bullshit reasons why she, like, and making her sound like an absolute physiological invalid, right? About why she can't actually attend her courses.
Not school. Not school. College. Adult scenario.
I mean, like, if you're looking for one that's just like an adult, like, off the top of my head, My Tiny Senpai comes to mind, right? Like, but that's not what Connor is actually trying to say. Connor was saying that, like, Agretsuko is realistic in depicting the angst and, like, anxiety and the stress of work life. But even then, I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Anything, right? If I grant you that, what's the purpose of that? Like, a lot of this stuff, yeah, sure, you can make stuff that has that function, but largely speaking, anime is primarily entertainment, right? It's primarily a method to decompress yourself after a hard day's work, which is, by the way, is why the Iyashike series, is it Iyashike? Yeah, it's Iyashike. The Iyashike genre became so big, it became actually quite big. Was like, oh yeah, you just need the ability to actually decompress and unwind after a stressful day, right? Whether you're a student, whether you're, like, working, all kinds of stuff, right? So it's like, why exactly would that be more popular, right? If you're trying to get the fuck away from your job and just enjoy yourself, why would you then sit down and watch something about the abject drudgery of, you know, going to work? Like, I moved both ways many times, but settled for the suburbs. Understandable.
School. Not school. School. Probably school. School. Kind of half and half. This is a random season I just looked at, by the way. School. This looks like a school. This is a school. This is a workplace one. This looks like a school one, to be honest. Kinda school. God, there's so much anime now. Holy fuck. Y'all are spoiled, man. Holy shit. Look at how much anime you get in one.
Could you imagine if, like, if I could actually understand Japanese, I'd be able to get through so much more anime, to be perfectly honest. Oh my god. There's only so much Duolingo can do. It does not help with fucking...
One season. Jeez.
Right? just to put it into perspective, like,
アグレッシブレツコで
stuff. And it's a shame that it's not being Japan, 'cause I feel like it could make waves. Maybe it's too real.
I think it is. I think it's just purely the fact that, you know, a Japanese
Dude, I
person
can't
will
wait to
look at
watch
that and be
Mushoku
like,
Tensei.
I don't
I'm waiting for Mushoku Tensei to finish, and then I'm gonna watch the fuck out of it. I can't wait.
want to see this because it's just going to remind me of reality. And to a lot of Japanese people, that's not the reason why they watch anime.
Interestingly enough, Joey's answer is basically the same answer.
So, again, that was, like, my point of, like, why don't you have so many... Why don't we have more anime that shows the drudgery of quote-unquote real life? First of all, I take offense to the idea that, like, real life is intrinsically just bad, right? It's like, no, it's not. It can be stressful at times, right? But just, like, equating fucking like realism to yeah, just everything sucks is quite telling about a person's outlook on being, right? Watching a lot of subbed 4-game cartoons helps with understanding the language. Foreign cartoons. I mean, I understand that, but like, I'd still have to be able to actually. I'm usually doing something as well, so it's like. That's my one complaint. Is like I get it. I'm not complaining that the show is still in Japanese, obviously, right? It's a Japanese production. It's going to be in Japanese. But like, if I'm doing something, I can't keep turning around and looking at the screen, the other screen when I'm dual screening, right? Because I'm trying to get something else done. So it is really a self-imposed problem.
You get from Google when you type.
That's how I recognize a lot of words. It's reading of the language makes me scream in frustration. Understandable. I saw a video explaining the rules of succession for many monarchies, because it's relevant for something I'm working on. But the person got the Arabic names right. They got close enough to the fucking Bhutanese name. I'm like, okay, yeah, that one's a bit hard. That one's a little harder to find. And they fucking butcher every fucking Japanese name and Japanese word that they say. The Tino. The what? Excuse me? The Aiko. That's not how you say her name. What the fuck are you on about, lady? How did you get the Arabic and the fucking Bhutanese correct and you didn't get the Japanese correct? You got the Polynesian names right. How did you not get the Japanese ones? Right? Oh my god. Thinks a real-time AI translator would be possible one day. It doesn't need to be real-time, to be perfectly honest. Eventually, we'll probably be able to train the AI to do, with minimal oversight, the translation work. And that will probably be good for, honestly, anime becoming more global. Now, when I say global, I mean like retain its Japaneseness while reaching a wider audience, right? I don't want anime to become a fucking global homo again, the universal solvent type shit, right? No, I still want anime to be Japanese.
How much anime said in high school, and Google actually sources Reddit, so Reddit comments, as if that's factual. It actually sources the clip that we just watched from the Trash Days podcast. And some other like YouTube stuff, Anime News Network, CBR. These are not really great resources. It's very like Western.
So your mistake here is you're using, like, again, Google's AI instead of going to Grok, which you can actually ask these questions and give you citations, and you can even give. Okay, here's the thing. I fucking hate listening to people talk about AI and like, oh yeah, AI is leftist tinge. No, it's not. I mean, yes, there's more leftist bullshit out there for the AI to train itself on, but you can actually mitigate all that shit by then just tailoring the question to get the actual answer, right? You can actually tailor your question to reduce political bias, or if you really want to understand someone else's point of view from a more technical perspective, you can prompt the AI in such a way that it will give you citations that you can then go read yourself from a very specific point of view, right? I've done this multiple times, and it's actually, again, understanding how to prompt these questions is actually really fucking helpful if you're trying to find obscure citations that you can't remember the source of, right? Oh my god. That's why I have blocks of time just for watching Chinese and Japanese anime. God bless, right? I gotta... The Legend of Hay is one I got to sit down and actually watch at some point.
Nice stuff trying to answer this.
But like,
and for
even
those that don't know, by the way, Google somewhat recently signed a agreement with Reddit.
Most magical girls are in middle school and high school until they age out. Yeah, except for Nanoha. Nanoha starts in middle school and then it goes to high school actually it went back to high school. But it was like middle school, and then she became an adult.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but also, like, if we're gonna pull this, it's like, what about fucking Evangelion? Right? I'm pretty sure they're in middle school in Evangelion, too, so it's like... That's definitely one of the more popular ones out there, right? It's like... Again, I don't remember any school stuff being in El Cazador de la Bruja, right? It's... What are we on about, right? It's extreme cherry picking, to be perfectly honest.
And which
Ghost of the Shell is another one. That one, there's not a single Ghost of the Shell that takes place in a fucking school, right? It's not actually that hard to find an anime that's not related to school at all. I'm pretty sure, like, Howl's Moving Castle is another one. I know it's not really a series, but it's a film not taking place in like a school. Yeah, it's just
Doing as an adult was sick. I fucking loved Strikers.
To use Reddit
She's
for
going
training
back to high
data for
school and the
Gemini.
new one.
So a lot of the time, and this is a complete side note, by the way. This is like a very important
You're right, Flawed. You're right. My bad. It does start in elementary school. You're right.
issue, actually. A lot of the time when you
I've actually never seen Lyrical Nanaha. It looks like the kind of show I would enjoy. I just haven't seen it yet.
Google something these days, it will source Reddit as if literal random people on Reddit and their random comments are factual sources of information.
No, Google... Okay, so the reason Google's doing this is Google has a political bent, and it's the same political bent that Reddit has, which is why they want to use Reddit as their primary sources, as you can see right here, when you do your queries to Google. Hello, Boo Huckley. The even jelly on anime. I said Evangelia, right? Let's see. I've started watching Evangelion. Most of Miyazaki is not set in a school context. Right? Fucking Ponyo is too young. You know, the main character of Ponyo is too young to go to school, if I remember correctly. Oh, speaking of Miyazaki, I actually have I have a DVD copy of 2 different live-action play renditions of Spirited Away. Honestly, I like the live-action rendition more than the actual anime. That's just me. It's like that play, the fucking like actual play, like the play is just fucking like really fucking entertaining.
Which they're obviously not. Now, that aside, I went to the source of this clip, and that clip's actually from a 4-year-old video that they posted, so I don't know if their opinions on this has shifted or not. Nevertheless, it's in the news again now, so let's take a look at what Japanese people are saying about that clip. This account, Masaru, going on to summarize the clip that we just watched, and, you know, they're talking about...
He has a fucking... I'm gonna disable chat for a moment. Look at behind chat. This man has a fucking Walter White screaming through the car window as his fucking AI generated drawing as his profile pic. Actually, you know what? I respect the guy. I respect this. A live action Japan. What do you mean a live action Japanese? No. So Spirited Away has 2 different plays. I think you can buy these still from G Kids, by the way. But there's a DVD set of 2 different live action plays for Spirited Away. Right? Yeah, they're in Japanese. Yeah, and there's no English dubbing for them. But yeah, it's a pretty fun watch. I would really recommend if you get the opportunity.
Like, why is so much anime set in high school? And the user going on to comment this. I think this is a pretty sloppy take on Japan. First off, people who still love school anime, even as adults, couldn't possibly have had, quote, fun high school days, unquote. If anything, the ones who truly enjoyed high school probably don't cling so strongly to school anime, even after growing up. Quick side note, by the
I think that really depends on the person. I think that really depends on the person.
way, I forgot to mention this currently has
Not the
3.6... Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. This currently has 3.6 million views on Twitter and 12,000 likes.
Jeez.
So let's continue where we left off. In reality, plenty of people would say their school days were awful because human relationships and their range of activities were narrow with no escape.
I mean, yeah, if you're in a bad situation, you're kind of shit out of luck, right? Right? I mean, if you can get through it, you get through it. But, like, if you're in a bad situation, you're kind of fucked.
Plus, Japanese people don't just watch anime. Dramas and movies dealing with working life, poverty, family issues, crime, healthcare, and politics are normally popular too. The explanation that, quote, Japanese people
You know
escape
what?
into
This is
anime...
interesting, actually. You know, why don't we just ask? What do you guys think, chat? How many of you guys, like, you'd say that your high school and your school life was pretty shit, but you like school anime? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, like those two qualities. Anyone like that? Because I feel like I'm like that. Like, I like school settings a lot. Like honestly, like fucking Harry Potter and you know, Harry Potter, Fire Emblem Three Houses,
Little Witch Academia, right?
and a lot of like, you know, school anime in general. I like them, you know.
I like the Little Witch Academia game. My brain just cannot wrap around where the fuck everything is in the map, though.
You know, Soul Eater, for instance, right? Yeah, so a lot of people like that. Yeah, me too, man.
I remember the fucking This Is Halloween Soul Eater AMV, and I remember a bunch of people being gaslit into thinking Soul Eater was a horror and not a fucking comedy. It's like, okay, that's fucking funny.
Because they don't want to face dark realities, unquote, doesn't explain Japan at all. Manga's the same.
I mean, what? First of all, like, define reality in this context, right? Like, is it even actually reality that you're actually depicting in there? Is the map that confusing? Well, to me it is. So most other people, I think it would probably be fine. It's just my brain just refuses to wrap around it. But then again, to be fair, when I was in the military, I could not read a map to save my life.
Say that after watching something I wish I could read. Too many overseas anime fans talk about Japan like it's a country made solely of shonen anime. Yeah, that's a hoodweeb moment right there, isn't it? That is a tourist moment right there, isn't it? And even when they sell themselves as living in Japan, they're people with hardly any connection to Japanese society, just living within the foreigner community, like the three people.
I fucking brought this up earlier in the video, didn't I? About the, again, foreigners going to Japan, forming their own little enclave, not learning the fucking language. Because again, it's like the only person in this trash taste who actually seems to speak Japanese with any degree of proficiency is Joey. And I don't understand why he doesn't fucking get on the other people about this, right? It's like, he's literally, he has literally told people to get the fuck out of his country before. And he's not at all concerned with the fact that, like, his friends are refusing to learn the language of the country that they're actually in. Maps are hard. I can read a blank map, but can't read a Statellite map. But to my coworkers, it's the opposite. There are 3 fair tubers on stream.
People in that video. Living in Japan and understanding Japanese society are two different things, right?
I mean, yeah, you can live in a place and not understand it. That's literally the entire problem that the United Kingdom's been having, is it not? Right? It's like, oh yeah, we got all these fucking, we got all these Muslims living in our country. And it's like, oh yeah, do they understand anything about your country? No. In fact, they actively despise us. Yeah, just because you live in a place, or even live in a place your entire life, doesn't mean you actually understand the place, to be perfectly honest.
Don't go overthinking a few anime and your own experiences let you explain the values of over 100 million people. Look,
and to be fair, Japan is a lot less diverse when it comes to intellect. There's a lot less intellectually diverse than the United States. But even with the United States, the only reason that's the case is because we kind of just let the United States just collapse into a bunch of different factually separate nations that have no real connection to each other, right? And even those are fracturing apart, politically speaking, across several lines. But it's not like, again, Japan is one homogenous area, right? You have, even ethnically speaking, you have the fucking Ryukyans, you have the Yamato, you have the Ainu. You can subdivide the Ryukyans based on island. There's a reason the Okinawans, for some reason, don't really like outsiders. And even between then, you have, like, different, obviously, all you have to do is look at the list of political parties they have, and you can see that, again, there's a wide range of ideas that the Japanese have. So, yeah, I would avoid making sweeping statements about, like, Japan as if it's a collective and not just a bunch of individuals with a shared cultural and ethnic background.
The fact of the matter is, there's a variety of reasons why
we got Power
anime
World today.
is sometimes set in high school. And one thing that people haven't mentioned yet is it is a narrative device. This is not the case all the time, like I said.
Yeah, it allows you to compress a lot of information in a very short amount of time. It's like, okay, so when I was watching, I showed a bunch of people Song of the Sea in a Discord group before any of the AI stuff really popped off, right? Let me see if I can pull it up. And the thing is, in Song of the Sea, by the way, slight spoiler, it's not going to be that bad, but there's a scene towards the end where we get to see Tirnanog, right? Or the Land of Youth. Okay. Cartoon Saloon. And I thought it was pretty fucking obvious what was going on, right? Like, I had no problem understanding what was actually happening in the scene, and most of the people watching it didn't really seem to have any kind of problem understanding what was happening in the scene. I thought it was pretty fucking obvious. But then again, like, I'm somewhat familiar with Irish mythology, right? So it's like I knew exactly what Tir na Nog was when it popped up. So it's like, okay, yeah, I know where we're at. Other people who didn't know what Tir na Nog was still mostly figured out what it was. But there were a couple people who were like, I don't really understand what's going on here. This is a great movie, by the way. Didn't I? But yeah, so this is a fantastic film if you want. Cartoon Saloon actually makes some really good shows. Where was I? Let's see. Hello, just someone. Let's see. Japan has a foreigner tax. Call it giving them a tip and see how fast they recoil. Let's see. Japan operates generally like a collective and not an individual. Individuality is more of a Western idea. Eastern countries focus on focus on the group. This is a generalization. It's not an absolute. In fact, there are a number of people in Japan who are Japanese who have criticized what they call groupism as being the thing that's killing Japan. And to be perfectly honest, they're probably right about that. I actually, I should probably make a video on that. Tir na Nog is a great song. Wait, is that a song? Just look up Saving Face. I know what Saving Face is. I am aware. And that's not really just a Japanese. Yeah, I'm aware of what face is. I've made fun of the concept before. Tir na Nog, like from that Mabinogi game. God, I fucking hate Celtic names so much. Oh my god. But kind of. So Tir na Nog is literally, it means something along the lines of like land of youth or country of youth. It happens to be a realm of the afterlife of of eternal youth, sung by Celtic women. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Celtic woman, Celtic. Hold on, am I thinking of the same thing? Hold on, I'm looking this up right now. You got me looking this up now. Okay, yeah, we're thinking of the same thing. But yeah, so I had to explain to someone what Tir na Nog was when I showed them that thing. Oh, okay, I'm on the wrong video. Where the fuck was I? Here it is. It's fine. But I had to explain to someone what Tir na Nog was because they just did not understand the ending, and they were like, "Well, I could have explained that." And then I had to explain it to them. It's like, look, I understand that you had difficulty with this, but you were literally the only person who had difficulty with this. Even a lot of the people here who did not have any background in Celtic mythology were able to figure out what it was, even though they did not know anything about Tir na Nog. I don't really think it's an issue with the story in this particular case, and even if it was an issue with, like, no one else here understood it, this is a story about Celtic mythology written for a European audience which would be more familiar with Celtic mythology. So they're not really obliged to explain this detail, right? Because you were objectively not the target audience, right? And the target audience wouldn't need this explained to them. They could just use this. They could just use the fact that Tir na Nog is being incorporated into the story in this way to piece it together. Just like, again, a lot of the people who didn't know what it was still managed to do in that watch along. So I see this happen all the time. Let's see. Some will always go a different way, but if the majority are group focused, it's inaccurate to say they aren't group focused, just saying. Well, I don't really believe collectives exist, right? I just believe that collectives are ultimately a behavior emerging from individuals, right? I'm not really a nominalist in this sense, but yeah. You are right though that individualism is a distinctly Western concept. You are correct about that, right? And that most of the East is collectivist in thinking. Again, you're totally right about that. But there is nuance, and there is like, again, like there is a dialogue still going on in Japan about this stuff, even if it's not in the forefront, right? The anti-groupism thing does seem to be growing.
Said it varies.
Is this
but
fucking
one example
Leon
is
Kennedy?
it being a narrative device. And what I mean by that
Fucking Leon Kennedy in Power World.
is having a younger character.
I have Power World, but I have not played Power World for just the fact that, like, again, everyone that I know who plays Power World is already at like level 30 to 50, and I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? Right? I've been playing Power World like, religiously, and I'm like, well, I'm not catching up, right? So hopefully there's someone in the community who actually wants to set up like a Power World like gaming like night, and I'll see if I can get that to work. But if not, fuck me, I guess, right?
Means that character doesn't have as much history. Now, of course, there's caveats to that too. You could find a young character that actually has a very complex history, or
that's a fair point. That's a fair concern.
There's times when a character is used, and it's specifically a young character is used rather, because they want to start with somewhat of a blank slate and tell the story from there. So that is another reason. Like,
yeah, again, the blank slate character exists because it's easier to, again, project yourself onto the blank slate character. That can be because you want it, again, wish fulfillment purpose, or a I've been there before purpose, right? Again, the blank slate character fills multiple purposes at the same time, which is why it's so common. Both you and Leaflet have blue hair and live in Texas. Are you both also squirrels? No. We're not both also We're not both squirrels, right? Although I do watch a squirrel talk about King of the Hill quite often. Let's see. I want to get Anubis and Sekhmet. They're named after Egyptian gods, eh?
Might see this happening on occasion. Also, the school setting is a very easy way to introduce multiple characters, obviously. So that's another reason too. My point is, like I said initially, there is a variety of explanations for this. It really depends on the nuance around the story that's being told. And in the responses, people also pointed out that anime is not the only medium that uses high school as a setting, and Western media actually does that somewhat frequently as well.
Yeah, I mean, fucking like Danny Phantom, Kim Possible come to mind, right? There's just a lot of Western cartoons that do this, right? Well, I mean, and Owl House comes to mind. Was Owl House in high school? I think Owl House was in high school. I know Amphibia was in middle school, though, so that one wouldn't count. Let's see. I can get that. Individualism could potentially turn some things around in Japan. I just worry that people dismiss cultural differences like everyone is then making anything to decide, right? I mean, that is a fair point, right? Obviously, like, just because there is no such thing as a collective doesn't mean that there isn't such thing as, like, emergent properties from the interaction of individual units. Like, that's been a well-documented thing since, for a long time in, the physics community, the property of emergence. So, like, yeah, it still makes sense that cultures, are documentable phenomenon, even if they, again, are just the interactions, behaviors, and beliefs of individuals, and the collective itself does not exist, right? So yeah, and there are real differences between cultures, right? Japan is currently learning that in an accelerated rate. They're like, oh yeah, Islam is not exactly compatible with Japanese culture, right? The mushrikun, right? The polytheists, those who commit shirk, right? Are among the worst of creatures according to the Quran, right? Alongside the people of the book who refuse Muhammad, i.e. the Jews and the Christians, right? So it's like, yes, y'all are about to have, they already have been having some bad times with the few Muslims that they've actually let into their country and have done things like, again, just disrupted the peace, while there, including, again, building mosques without permission that then cannot, for some reason, be torn down. Look, man, all I'm saying is people say you look at who you can't criticize to know who rules you, and the only video I've made, I've criticized Judaism, but the only video I've ever had gotten taken down from my fucking YouTube account because of YouTube was me criticizing Muslims. I'm just saying, it goes deeper, right? Let's see. Oh, and it's so pervasive that Chinese AI is face saving. Oh, I could, yeah, I absolutely could see that. The only collective I trust is the invisible hand. That's not even a collective though. That's literally emergent. That's literally emergent behavior, right? So it's not even a collective. But I think that's your exact point.
Also, you know, that is, of course, also true. Legendary Drops, the man himself, also chimed in on this clip.
Shit.
He wrote, I'd assume most anime is in a high school setting because it's predominantly made for 18 and under. Like video games, while adults take part in it, the vast majority of the stuff is made for kids. I don't think it's as deep as not wanting to face, quote, Japan's dark reality, unquote.
Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with this as well. It's like, like you don't have to assume just because what the fuck are we doing here? This is ridiculous.
Another Japanese user would also comment on the Trash Taste clip. Let's see what this one says. The reason there are so many school life stories in Japanese content is that it's a shared experience among Japanese people
This is what I said.
before Americans who face a crazy
That's
education.
what I said. It's like it's very what do you call it? It's relatable to a large amount of people, which makes it like. And by the way, do you know that this is why isekai is so huge? Do you guys know about that?
Well, isekai is huge for a number of reasons. One of which is, again, the escape, the fantasy of and like being important, going on your own adventure, right? Those are all universal. Those are all universal experiences. Everyone has had that thought or that desire to be to go off on your own great adventure, right? Even if you don't necessarily come back. So yeah, there's that, but there's also the thing of, again, the majority of people who ended up getting isekai'd in these stories are people that most people could relate to, right? Or that most people understand, even if they're not like them. But let's be fair, most of them are meant to be blank slate characters because, again, you can project onto them or just understand them, whichever way you decide to interface with the story.
The reason why isekai is such a good storytelling device is because it's easy to relate to it. Because you can immediately relate to the character being like, whoa, what the fuck? This world is crazy, right? You don't have to like go in, you don't have to be like, there's this fantasy world and this character exists. And then you have to explain all of the things that character knows. You have to be like, well, as a, since he grew up, he grew up in this village all his life, so he knew about the festival at the end of the year in which like they would sacrifice, they would have to they would have to sacrifice a girl to like the fire god, otherwise like the barrier will break down and people will die, and it's like,
I will say that I think this is a little bit of just like bad writing in general, right? It's like, first of all, not everything has to be a hard magic system. You can actually make use of soft magic. And by the way, when I say hard and soft magic, I don't necessarily mean that there are no rules. I'm talking about like whether or not the audience understands it, right? Because we have plenty of stories where the magic is actually very soft. The audience doesn't really understand how the magic works, and yet they're still really beloved. Even that doesn't necessarily mean that there are no rules to how it works. It just means that, like, again, the rules, if they do exist, are behind the scenes. So there is that. But like, if you want to do like a hard magic system, then yeah, you got to figure out a way to actually explain in a way that makes intrinsic sense how this works. Now, you could do it with isekai, but you could also do it with like maybe someone has amnesia, so they don't remember any of this stuff of some kind, right? Or their mind has been wiped. But there's other ways to do this. Like, I'm just giving one example of another way to do this. First Contact is another way that this could happen, right? It's not necessarily isekai, but yeah.
He's like the hero that was like supposed to like break this curse or whatever, and like you'd have to explain all of his backstory. Now, if the character got isekai'd, he'd be like, oh.
It's a plot device to use the MC as a stand-in for the audience to learn the new world with them. Yes, very, very much so, right? Because then if the MC doesn't know, if the narrator themselves doesn't understand how these things work, then they have to learn about it, right? Which it makes it easier for the audience to learn it because they're watching the positive growth of the character, like the positive uptick of the character's growth. and growing with understanding of the character alongside them, right? It's just the easiest way to do that. Going on your own adventure, sure. Everyone generally, sure. But a definite category of Japanese writing, collectivism, maybe. Well, I would just point out that, like, while it's not as common in the West, the whole literally go to another world story is a thing that has been in Western literature for way longer than people think. Literally, the first science fiction story, a true story, which was written by a Roman, involves precisely that, right? You have men actually go onto a ship, do some naval faring, and eventually they get involved in a war between the kingdom of the sun and the kingdom of the moon, right? With fucking ants the size of horses flying along cosmic winds, right? So there's that, right? You got the Chronicles of Narnia as another good example of, like, again, literally go to another world, get trapped in another world, and then maybe you can come back if you survive, kind of deal, right? So this is not a uniquely Japanese thing. It's the Japanese are uniquely fascinated with this. Isekai-ed. Fucking hell, mate. Wizard of Oz is an isekai. There's another one, right? Isekai and high school already have the group potential, interesting characters without needing much explanation as to why they are gathered for random bullshit to go. Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck is going on here, guys? Am I right? Right? And it's like the readers immediately like, yeah, I totally feel the same way, man. And then they're like,
it's also, like, again, one of the reasons why time travel stories often have someone from the present go to a time that they're not familiar, that the audience isn't going to be familiar with. It's literally the exact same thing.
and so he gets to the town, and then he's like, what the fuck is happening? And they're like, yes, it's time to do the annual sacrifice. And he's like, what the fuck? Right? And then so, like, it gets explained to him in the same way, like, it's also being explained to you. It's easy to understand. You're inserting, like, you're able to relate to this character.
Yeah, if you didn't do it that way, you might very well, even if it's well written, if you don't do it that way, you very well could accidentally turn your story into ergodic literature. It's like where the difficulty of reading it is actually is a feature, not a bug, right? I'm thinking of making my VTuber background that she was isekai'd into her current form based off the fact I've been hit by a truck, so why not? I too have been hit by a car. I've actually been hit by a car more than once.
Gap and end up with
I mean, that's one way to explain it, to be perfectly honest, right?
totally different school lives depending on income or race.
So sorry, the whole point of that is that that would also apply to school stuff in a way, is that it's more understandable because it's a shared experience that a lot of people can think back on and be like, I remember how it felt like at that time.
Yeah, that's why, again, like, urban fantasy usually takes place more or less around some area that they're going to expect the audience to have some knowledge of, right? Usually in the present, maybe 30 minutes in the future, right? Or in the present, but maybe 30 seconds in the past, 30 minutes in the past. But yeah.
Or if you're a kid, I know how it feels like right now.
It's like, why do you think most comic books take place mostly in, like, the modern day cities, right? And it's like, yeah, sure. I don't know what it's like necessarily to live in Gotham or to live in, like, Central City or to live, but I can still infer based on the fact that these are American cities what the background is like, and I don't need this stuff half explained to me, right? It's even more explicit in Marvel Comics, where it's like 90% of their fucking characters live in New York, right? You don't have to do all that world building because it's already right there. You just, we all have this experience of these kinds of places, so we don't have to have all this explained to us. Half of those times,
right, so it's like everybody can kind of connect to that, whereas, like, if you do something like in the future where it's like, yes, this is my third job and I'm about to retire,
you isekai 3 times back into your own world in a row.
it's almost time for retirement. Nobody can relate to that except for people that are about to retire or retired people. So school is just an easy jumping point that, like, actually gets a lot more people on board.
just doesn't click. It's the sad reality of an educationally backward country that can't grasp the phenomenon of, quote, public education becoming a shared national experience, on quote. Similarly, we've got this take that says the reason there are so many high school settings is that high school is the last shared experience we can reasonably expect from readers, and that's the biggest factor.
And
Quote,
again, isekai. That's why isekai is so fucking huge. So understandable.
it's high school
Shared
that's shown the
experience.
brightest on.
You're a person that gets dropped into some situation that like you're like, I have no idea what's going on.
Quote is, well, not quite right, is it? If anything, for the otaku types, there are way more people who really come into their own after becoming working adults, freed from the shackles of
There are a
money.
lot of isekai anime before Digimon. Yeah, you got like Escaflowne, Maze, Ray Earth, Inuyasha. There were a ton, yeah.
Obligations. I do wonder
my
how
avatar's
accurate that
going-
translation was
Hold on.
specifically near the ending. And this explanation reading, it's because more than half of Japan's
Actually, Inuyasha was Inuyasha before Digimon. I don't think so. I think Digimon was first.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Digimon precedes Inuyasha.
Maze for sure was before it, and Ray Earth was for sure before it.
Oh yeah, Ray Earth is definitely preceding that.
the anime industry essentially belongs
Superbook, true Superbook.
to the manga industry.
Good point, yeah,
And the best-selling
true.
genre in the manga industry is shonen manga.
Chat, can you recommend a good anime? What animes? What do you want? Like, what kind of story you're looking for, Gringor? What are you looking for? It just depends. There's so many anime nowadays. It's kind of what kind of stuff do you like?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
want something funny?
anyone who says that they don't like anime has just simply not actually watched enough anime to find one that they enjoy, right? But if you have any kind of taste in anything, there's an anime out there for you. But to be fair, if you're not willing to look for it, you don't deserve to see it. Let's see. The leaflet keeps blocking the guy, man. Right? that's why I moved out of the way so I wouldn't block the leaflet. Funny how the group that seems to be obsessed with prom and the high school click questions why there's so many anime and manga set in high school. Just wondering how often is the military origin used in American stories. Inuyasha manga beat Digimon by 1 year. Oh, so okay, so Inuyasha is actually older than Digimon. That's actually kind of surprising. Hey, is Shin Megami Tensei involve any kind of like isekai nonsense? I don't know, but like I know Shin Megami Tensei beats Digimon by quite a while, so I just don't know if there's any kind of like isekai thing in there. I do know that there's like a multiverse thing in like fucking Shin Megami Tensei, so it is possible. As far as like how often is the military origin used in American stories? That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. Okay, so the Shin Megami Tensei beats like both of them. Kind of, yeah. Fair. Hello, Phantom Crustacean.
You want something serious? You want something like fuck the commies? Oh yeah, true. El Hazard too. El Hazard was also an isekai.
They get temporarily transported into the spiritual world. Pretty common in this series. Fair. I gotta play Shin Megami Tensei at some point. It looks like a really fun game.
Leaflet's favorite
Game series.
anime? My favorite anime. Pretty sure. The last one sounds great. Wait, the last one? What do you mean by the last one? Oh yeah, Chronicles of Narnia is a isekai. That's right. True.
Yeah.
True.
But again, it's like a true story is actually probably like, again, you could probably bullshit that into being an isekai. Let's see. John Carter of Mars is another one that would be presumably an isekai as well. Let's see. I mentioned that because it could be like school in a way for how defined of an experience it can be. What the hell do anime/cartoon haters even enjoy? Trash, garbage, or rubbish? I mean, yeah. I've seen what these people watch. Their boos mean nothing to them. I've seen what makes them cheer. Let's see. Dual universes is common to a lot of anime. Yeah, I don't even think you really need to really have it be a dual universe, to be perfectly honest. Like, obviously, if we're talking like Isekai, Amethyst Princess of Gemworld, it comes across as like a really, as a decently old Isekai, to be perfectly honest, right? But like, what is functionally the difference between like being spirited away from universe A to universe B versus being spirited away from Earth to 200 trillion light years away, right? You are functionally in a different universe at that point. And that's literally the background story behind it's not Adam Strange, it's fuck, what's his name? Doctor. Who's the guy who's associated with the Zeta tubes? The guy from Ran. It's Adam something. Hold on. I'm gonna have to look this up. This is one of the people whose names I keep fucking forgetting. This is Zeta beams. It's not what I'm looking for. Oh my god, it was Adam Strange. Fucking hell, I had it right the first time. So okay, so it's Adam Strange. So it's like, yeah, it's like Adam Strange gets like fucking yeeted off his planet to another planet, which is like 200 trillion light years away. It is like you are functionally in a different universe at that point. There's no fucking way you were going back home, right? Or even in the case of like, again, the guy who wrote Tarzan also wrote John Carter of Mars. Functionally speaking, being dropped on another planet like that is being dropped on another universe, right? Just because you can see the Earth as like a dot in the sky is not really all that, like, isn't really all that important. You are still functionally in a different universe at that point. Let's see. Hold on. What's going on here? Mushoku Tensei is one. See, I like the Persona series. I just wish they did more remakes, like with Persona 3 with a femme MC. Understandable. Chronicles of Nia. I'm excited for the for Ray Earth remake. Oh, I didn't know there was going to be one. I actually would be really excited for that. Found the original at a bookstore in Colorado. One of my first exposures to anime outside of the Toonami Deke lineup. Has special place in my heart. Understandable, honestly. The Hell War of the Worlds is basically reverse isekai. I mean, you're not wrong. I have no idea what you're talking about. Him. Now I remember. Brain's still fogged. Fair.
Oh, anti-commie? Tanya. Yeah, Tanya.
Are we a glowing blue star like Mars is glowing red star? Yeah, basically.
And lastly, this one with a variety of quotes that says, to put it bluntly, I can write about high school without research because I experienced it and remember it, so it's easy. I can skip explanations since there are so many parts that are common knowledge. It's more fun to write about spry young people.
Frieren is
because
really
of
good.
Convenience.
It depends. Some people don't like Frieren. Yeah, but
they are wrong.
Because then you have more life experience to be nostalgic about. So like if you're older, Frieren, like Frieren.
I hit the wrong button. I have to rewind.
And yeah, but yeah, try Frieren. If you like fantasy, Frieren's pretty good.
It's like that on the.
You know what? Frieren honestly is better if you're older. I'm gonna be honest. Because then you have more life experience to be nostalgic about. So like if you're older, Frieren's is.
Wouldn't just about all of DC and Marvel stories involving aliens suddenly finding themselves on Earth basically be reversed isekai? I mean, I guess you could do that with... Okay, so I think one of the things with, like, isekai is also, is like, most of the time, it's not all the time, right? Because, like, again, you get transported to a digital world, you're basically in a different universe too, right? So it's like, I would argue Dot Hack Sign is still an isekai, right? Because functionally speaking, the world is a different universe than like the actual physical world. In that case, they don't remember anything about who they were. So I guess if you don't remember anything about who you were, that wouldn't really get into the question. I don't think Superman or Icon would be cases of that. Maybe Thor could be finagled into this category. Supergirl and Power Girl definitely kind of would be, to be perfectly honest. They actually remember the other world that they, got spirited away from. And depending on what continuity you read, they might actually be, Power Girl at least comes from a different universe, right? So, yes, they are wrong if they don't like free rent. Absolutely. The free rent memes are great. It really depends on how exactly you define isekai, right? Because it would be really hard to say that, like, Amethyst Princess of Gemworld is not isn't an isekai. It's very obviously an isekai. But it's like, if you're talking about Power Girl is very obviously a reverse isekai. It's about an alien from a literally different universe, right? It's not even she comes from a different planet like Krypton. No, she comes from a Krypton from a parallel universe and then lands in the main DC timeline, right? So she literally satisfies, even if you just want it to be another universe, she literally satisfies the different universe criteria. So this would actually be pretty fun to do, like a video, where you just get to argue a point.
Better.
Author's side that there are so many of them. By the way, I have zero desire to go back to high school. I don't want to do boring studying. You know what? We're so close to the 8-minute mark. Let's take a look at one more response. We've got, you don't understand a thing, do you? The vast majority of what they call anime are adaptations of manga. So where are those manga published? Most of them are in shonen manga magazines.
Yeah.
It's something you'd figure out with a simple search. They're just ignorant, yet they're getting all drunk on their own ideas. That's all. And that's the situation.
Damn.
Those are
I could absolutely see why the Japanese get fucking annoyed with these people sometimes, right? Like, this is just kind of fucking ridiculous. It's like, they could have actually just asked or done some research and found the answer, but instead they were like, nah, let's just random bullshit go, right? Around free rate equals around elves, be yourselves.
for the responses. Let me know what you think about the latest. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.
That's crazy. It just seems very easy to me that that's the reason why behind it. I'll link it to you guys. All right. Let me go read the alerts here. Straka for hire, they give it 200. Watch Konosuba for comedy, Frieren for story, and Kaguya Love is War for romance. I haven't seen Kaguya Love is War. You know why? Because I tried to watch it with my mom, and she said it wasn't fun. If you want romance, I really like Netju.
If you want a romance that's good, I suggest Toradora and His and Her Circumstances. Both of them are really good. Also, I'm going to suggest, even though it's not a down-to-earth romance, I am going to suggest Darling in the Franxx. Still one of my favorite anime.
Netju's my favorite. Actually, I like Chunibyo too, but then I feel like I'm very target demographic for Chunibyo. You act like you aren't the target demographic for Netju as well. Fuck you, bro. All right.
God damn it. That took me a moment. That took me a moment. Are elves cougars by default? I don't know. I don't think I really care if they are, to be perfectly honest, right? Kuro says, I like Lovely Complex. I'm gonna have to give that one a look. His or Her Circumstances. His or Her Circumstances is really good. It's written by the same guy who it's written and directed by the same guy who did Evangelion, except it is a lot less it's not nearly as heavy as Evangelion, but it's actually really good. So let's see if I see if I got a trailer here, because I'm not gonna listen to the OP. Okay. I knew you would name Darling. I love Darling in the Franxx. I think you saw my video essay on Darling in the Franxx. Is it a body switch story? It is not. She is indeed the target demo for those series. I'm out. She is. Leave my kind out of this. I still remember when they tried to make the big stink about Arrow Manga Sensei and why they stay away from incorporating in Japanese culture despite being in Japan. I made that exact fucking, not the Arrow Sensei thing, but I made that exact fucking complaint. It's like, what do you mean you've been living in Japan for years and you can't even say a simple sentence without stumbling over yourself? What fucking bullshittery is this, right? I get that, like, you want to live in an enclave where you can get around, you can talk to people that you have shared experiences with. If I was living in Japan, I would make a lot of effort to learn the language, right? Because it's like, I'm fucking there for, if I'm gonna live there, I need to be able to talk to the people around me. Oh my god, watch Darling 3 times. Oh, I fucking love Darling. Oh my god. Exactly, tourists. I'm thinking of your and My Secrets fun manga. Oh yeah, I think I've read that one too. Flick elf ears to hear the wang sound. But yeah, here's the trailer for his and Her Circumstances. Have you met Spanish speakers in the United States? Sadly, I have. I have met people who only speak Spanish in the United States. I live in Texas, after all, right? I like Darling in the Franxx, I just don't like the ending. I think the ending is perfect. Definitely don't care about learning English, yeah. So yeah, to be perfectly honest, that trailer doesn't exactly tell you a lot about his or her circumstances. But let's see if I can find the chase scene. That okay. There we go. This may be a better argument for watching this show.
いい？宮沢さんに会ったら全員でごめんなさいって言うんだよ。謝れば許してくれるよね。あ、宮沢さん。え
She got that fucking Mexican mom like chocolate throw skill. Oh, this was I'm pretty sure this was written after even. Okay, so I don't know about how the manga relates to Evangelion in terms of like when it was produced, but this show was definitely after Evangelion, right? Anno was no longer as depressed as he was writing, working on Evangelion.
怒らせたわね。怒らせたわね、この私を。私が怒るとどれだけ怖いか、今すぐ怒らせたいのよ。今さら友達なくなったって帰ってさっぱりするわ。
Oh, by the way, if you feel bad for the small girl here, she kind of deserves this. Get fucked, man.
したんでしょう。一度本気で怒られてみるのもいいかもね。ほら、言わない。日頃の行いがものを言うの。
I'm telling you, they're all like, we've never seen her act like this. Whatever you've done, you deserve this ass beating. Right?
なんだ下妙に騒がしいよできるないなああれ宮沢じゃないか
Have you watched Fully Cooley? I have Fully Cooley on DVD. Yes, I watched Fully Cooley. Let me catch up with chat. Let's see. Where are we? I would argue Dan to Dan has a good love story. It does. I actually quite like the love story in Dan to Dan. The girl is cray cray, but that was the norm of the time. I got the Grandpa Simpson, which was the style of the time. Just I read it. I read it in that voice. Oh my god, was it written? Okay, I already said this part. Darling's manga ending is very different. Yes, I think I know this. My old man brought back a bunch of burned discs of a bunch of anime from Iraq, of all places. Surprisingly high quality, slick menu, and everything. I mean, anime is pretty popular in the Middle East, so I may have glimpsed this before. Oh, also defrag. I can't wait for the copyright fucking warning that's going to come on the recording of this. I still remember trying to get you to watch Toradora, but you refused to till years later when someone else showed you that you tried to get me into it, only to realize it was one of the hundreds I tried to get you into, but you refused to till someone else showed you. I was like, I couldn't get into Fully Cooley. It's too random for my taste. It's more of a time capsule, to be perfectly honest. It's not actually nearly as random as people think it is. There is actually an underlying logic behind how Fully Cooley is like organized and what happens. I will not take the slander about River City Girls being slop. Anyway. Learning new languages for a new world, but must soccer and novellas, right? Dan to Dan is wholesome. I wouldn't call it smut. Full Metal Panic, yeah. Fully Cooley is one of my favorites. All right, so let's get to the second of these that I had set up for this. All right, let me make sure this is on all the way. So what's Rev going to be talking about?
Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So in this video, I'll be talking about the situation involving Joey the anime.
The moral of Fully Cooley is eyebrows, right? Those look, man. All of Aaron McNeff's eyebrows. The reason he doesn't have any eyebrows is because the guy from Fully Cooley has his eyebrows.
Man, a YouTuber who is currently facing a lot of backlash from tourists on social media because he responded to a viral TikTok. And people are not happy with his response.
I don't know. Define slop. That's how we're gonna proceed with that. If you could properly define what makes something slop, and then we can get River City Girls to fit in there, then fair. But this slop of always calling shit slop for X, Y, or Z reasons is kind of ridiculous, right?
Now it's
let's see. I don't understand this thing, so it's right. Arakawa under the bridge is also underrated as hell. I'm gonna have to check that out. So Turbo Granny didn't make advances on the main character. I mean, literally, the first time we see her, she propositions him. I'm not entirely sure.
It's 2026, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that a TikTok featuring a woman cosplaying as Princess Bubblegum, complaining about anime needing more female protagonists, is getting a lot of support on that platform.
I mean, this is just retarded. If you think that there's not enough female protagonists in anime, you're just fucking retarded. Just like objectively speaking, right? Like this is someone who has maybe they've seen like a shonen manga, like a shonen battle series, right? But I don't think they've actually seen any manga, to be perfectly honest.
But Joey the anime man would respond and provide a very long list of anime featuring female protagonists and other female characters in prominent roles, really featured in prominent anime. Like, he's just touching the surface, and people are really upset. Now, of course, Joey is a part of Trash Taste, and that is a podcast that myself and many others have been very critical of over the years for their trash takes.
I mean, to be fair, they do say their taste is trash, and yes, their takes are actually pretty dog shit, to be perfectly honest. There's a reason I don't watch Trash Taste. Is it actually genuinely upsets me sometimes, right? It's like, why the fuck does anyone pay attention to you? Like, you're an absolute fucking dumbass, right?
On many things. But you know what? Give credit where credit is due. In this situation, Joey in recent years has had a mixed bag of takes, but will state this is a strong W on his part. I mean, if he's responding to this, I don't imagine he's gonna have the wrong opinion. Like, Joey actually watches anime, and this is like so retarded. I would struggle to think that he would have a wrong take on this. Also, isn't the main not also? Oh, okay, never mind. The chat moved right when I was reading it. Also, isn't the main theme recovering the main characters Twig and Berries? Yeah. You're not wrong. That's the beginning of it, but yes. Let's see. They are everywhere. As far as I remember, there's always a girl. Well, I think it's about like a female lead. And even if it's a female lead, this is a fucking stupid criticism anyway. Very good response to this viral TikTok and this post right here on Twitter sharing the related response from Joey has gone viral. Let's hear what he has to say in response.
My anime hot take is that we need more female protagonists.
Enough said. Sailor Moon, Madoka Magica, those are the obvious ones. Serial Experiments Lane, Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Kill la Kill, Kanan, Ergo Proxy, Claymore, Yojo Senki, Ghost in the Shell, Violet Evergarden, Azumanga Daioh, Maiden Abyss, Nana, Shoujo Kakume Utena, Yona of the Dawn, Ascendance of a Bookworm, Psycho Pass, Black Lagoon, Certain Scientific Railgun, Haibana Denmechi, Hayafuru, My Neighbor Totoro, Little Witch Academia, Hibiki Euphonium, Ancient Magus Bride, Nichijou, Blood Plus, Blood Sea, Kana no Kyokai, Kiki's Delivery Service, House Moving Castle, Nausica, Spirited Away, Suzumiya Haruhi no Yutsu, Soul Song of Freeran, Lovely Complex, Fruits Basket, Princess Tutu, Perfect Blue, Oran High School Host Club, Carol and Tuesday, Apothecary Diaries, Bocchi the Rock, Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, Dead Demons, Dead.
Wait, did he say Bocchi the Rock and it's K-On?
Host Club, Carol and Tuesday, Apothecary Diaries, Bocchi the Rock.
Okay.
Your Hands Off Eizouken, Dead Demons, Dead Destruction. Ghost Sick, Wolf Children, Jojo Part 6, Moribito, Shirobako, Bloom Into You, Kino no Tabi, Humanity Has Declined, Slayers, Uma Musume. Damn. I guess we do need more female anime protagonists, huh?
I mean, you could go further than that, right? I mean, the Scrap Princess, the Secret World of Ariete, there's fucking Sing a Bit of Harmony, like there's Silent Voice, Suzume, there's fucking Step Up Love Story, Mad Lax Noir, El Cazador de la Bruja, Eden of the East, there's fucking Magic Knight Rayer, Tanya the Evil, there's Princess Jellyfish, Win Marne was there was Witchblade, You're Under Arrest, Yuri Kuma Arashi, there's Kamichu, Mezzo DSA, there's My Hime, My Otome, there's Neo Ranga, Noein, To Your Other Self, there's Penguin Drum, Project Echo, Queen's Blade, there's Dot Hack Sign, although to be fair, you wouldn't guess that from the beginning of the story. There's Battle Angel Aelita, there's Cutie Honey Universe, there's Belle, Cardcaptor Sakura, there's Simon, Oban Star Racers, if you want to count like a fucking Japanese-French collaboration. There's Kite Liberator, Jadugar, A Witch of Mongolia, which is fucking airing right now, by the way, right? There's Citrus, there's Shy, there's Emma, A Victorian Romance. There's Girls Last Tour, Yokohama, Kaidashi, Kiko. There's Shugochara, Angelic Lair, where I already talked about his and her circumstances. There's Ruby Ice Queendom. You know, Gretzko was mentioned in the previous video. There's Aoi Hana. There's 12 Kingdoms. We can go fucking on and on about this, right? It's like there's Eden. I don't know if I said Eden of the East, but it's like, what are we fucking doing here, right? Not to mention even the fucking Pretty Cures, right? Like, I just pulled up the Pretty Cure list. Let's see how many Pretty Cures there are, right? Futari wa Pretty Cure, Max Heart, Futari wa Pretty Cure, Splash Star, Yes Pretty Cure 5, Yes Pretty Cure 5, Go, Fresh Precure, Heart Catch Precure, Sweet Precure, Smile Precure, Doki Doki Precure, Happiness Charge Precure, Go Princess Precure, is Maho Tsukai Precure, Kira Precure, a la mode. There's Hug To Precure, Star Twinkle Precure, there's Healing Good Precure, Tropical Rogue Precure, Delicious Party Precure, Hero Garu Sky Precure, Wonderful Precure, there's fucking Kimi Idol Precure. There's also fucking like if you're looking for one that's not necessarily like in any of these, if you're looking for one Kodomo even, right? For like actually young children. There's what was that one I think actually what was the one with Magical Doremi? That's the one I was thinking of. And if you're looking for one that's definitely in the Josei category, there's fucking Nana, right? I don't. What are we doing here? We could literally be here all fucking day naming anime that like actually has a female lead. What the fuck are we doing here? Like Futabu? Like, do you want me to get into like the? Oh my god, I fucking hate these people. Ah! I put some of those in as a joke. I don't know if anyone's going to notice any of these, but I have a sneaking suspicion some prudes are going to crash out by some of the fucking ones. Does Ranma 1/2 count low? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question, right? You can't be transphobic. We going to count Ranma 1/2? Let's see. He already mentioned Tanya the Evil. He just said the Japanese name. Fuck! Okay, fair enough. Just listed off the top of his head. It even then gave a good list of them that disproves the cosplayer statement, right? Born in Abyss. Right. I think they are complaining about few femme protags in the most over normie genre shonen. Yeah, but then they should be watching shoujo or josei. I mean, there's some seinen manga where it's like there's a female protagonist, but it's like, no, this is a stupid complaint. They should be their point is bad and they should feel bad. That's my opinion. Might as well name every magical girl in existence a cosplay. Yeah, exactly. There's literally a whole genre about this, right? It's literally. Speaking of, like making a joke about the whole trans inclusion thing, right? There is a magical girl anime where the magical girl transformation is actually the girl turns into a buff dude in a skirt, and it's actually really funny. Give me a year and I couldn't list all the anime with a female lead. Exactly. Sorry, Made in Abyss, Ranma 1/2 Go to Show. It is. I don't like Yuri, so don't know much about them, but there's a ridiculous amount of... I named a couple of them, like Girls Last Tour and Citrus were in there, right? Let's see, Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was like the first one mentioned. Scholarly, LSD Bug. Why would normies ever go outside their comfort zone and try something new? That's fair. Bobobo. See, that was good. Oh my god, even the third fucking series of Darker Than Black has a female lead, right? It's literally the little girl that's the fucking like main character in the third series of Darker Than Black. Puni Poeme. Right? The tourists are literally too stupid to follow anything other than the shonen. Yes. I've told you about the buff magical girl and you never believed me till recently. I mean, I did believe with you. I just couldn't find it. I love Girls Last Tour. Also goated. Absolutely, right?
So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. This TikTok is making a claim that there's not a lot of anime out there with female protagonists, and Joey would respond.
I love how, like, again, Joey could just name a shit ton off the top of his head. And I was able to, again, name a shit ton off the top of my head. It's all... I hate these people with a passion.
Providing a list of many different anime with female protagonists. And I would assume, given his...
what was the name of the pink-haired knight and her Indian princess? That's Revolutionary Girl Utena. Or Utena, actually. Mind of Raw says, they want to colonize the male market with female protags to push the same kind of female protags we have here. That's true, but the thing is that the reason why female protagonists in Japan can be quite popular is because, again, they're actually something that male, like, readers are interested in, right? At least... You know, male. Most men like, again, like the girly girl, but most men also like the tomboy. So long as, again, there is a sense of like they're not a cunt, right? Let's see. Half of Type Moon games are female lead. Oh my god, you're right. That's another one I forgot. Kore wa Zombie Desuka is the polar opposite of the girls turning into a buff man. Read or Die. There's another one. That's another good one, right? Tourists being able to name any anime that's not from Shonen Jump Challenge impossible. Oh my, you're not wrong there. Could we actually, you know what? Inuyasha. There's another one. Inuyasha. That is an objectively female-led story. I didn't even think about that. We talked about it earlier. And the only reason I thought about it is because I looked to the side and like, oh shit, I have Inuyasha. Right, I have it there, and I didn't even think about it. And Ghost in the Shell actually is another one I don't think either of us brought up. Ginrei is another one. I mean, technically the Ginrei collection is like within the Getter Robo stuff, but like, again, like the Ginrei collection is very specifically female led. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, I can literally in my space turn my head and I can see female led anime. Right? This is fucking idiotic bullshit.
His knowledge of anime, he could list a lot more, but for the
called Inuyasha earlier, you are correct, right? Wasn't one of the Gantz series female led? I actually have not read Gantz. And actually, no, you don't bringing this up. Godzilla Singular Point, the fucking lead in Godzilla Singular Point is female. Well, wasn't there a Oni Chick series made by the maker of Inuyasha? Are you talking about Urusei Yatsura? I think you're thinking of Urusei Yatsura, but that's not really an Oni. I mean, it is kind of an Oni, but she's more of an alien, right?
The sake of short form content, that is what he provided. Now, how did social media respond to not only Joey, but also this post sharing the related TikTok? Well, not very well, but they start off with this, saying he thinks he's funny, with a screenshot of Joey listing Bocchi the Rock with a screenshot of K.
Look, that is funny. That was objectively funny. Right? If you didn't think that was funny, you're wrong.
On, and they say he thinks he's funny. Quite frankly, I think that's like the funniest thing he's done.
I just turned my head again and I saw another one. Gunsmith Cats. Gunsmith Cats is another one. Gunsmith Cats is actually really fucking good, by the way. But Gunsmith Cats.
In a very long time. But then you see the post really showing their true colors. This individual saying, no real human beings have watched more than 5 animes from this list.
Oh, bullshit. I've watched a bunch of this shit. Girls in Panzer. I didn't even think about that one, but yeah, Girls in Panzer is another one, right? Senshado is absolutely the peak feminine sport, right?
Tourist. Yeah, we identified the tourist. So this person is claiming no real human being has seen more than 5 anime from the list that Joey provided.
Okay, I am going to go back, and we can turn this into a game, right? But like at the end of this video, I'm going to go back to him, to Joey fucking listing out all these anime. And I want us all to keep track of how many of these anime we've actually seen, right? Because I have a sneaking suspicion almost everyone in the fucking chat and me are going to fucking absolutely pass this test. Oh my god, I hate these people. Bull, yeah, exactly, absolutely bull. If you add in ones where they have multiple leads, where at least one is a girl, the number goes to infinity. Yes, Bocchi the K-On! Anime fans, are we a joke to you? I've watched every anime he's listed except K-On/Bocchi. You're doing better than I am. Is Pizza Cats anime? I think so. Appleseed, Dominion, those are all other good examples. Keijo takes umbrage with the claim of top female sport, lol. And you know, I'm pretty sure that's female-led too. Pretty sure that's female-led too. My tank is woman. I don't have enough I love how you have to get around that by using a number instead of a letter.
Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, please respond, leave a comment. If you've seen more than 5 anime from this list, provide the anime you've watched from this list and show that this individual is completely wrong. This is peak tourist behavior, but it gets so much worse.
Actually, did he even mention Little Witch Academia? I don't remember if he did, but Hold on. Rev has laid down the challenge. So let's just fucking do this now, right? Okay, we are at 4:03. Let me write that down so we can go back to here after we do this. But I have a sneaking suspicion we're all gonna fucking pass this. So let me go back and let's actually do this test right now. Then hold on. That's got to go a little bit further back than this. All right.
Response.
My anime hot take is that we need more female protagonists.
Enough said. Sailor Moon, Madoka Magica, those are the obvious ones. Serial Experiments Lane.
All three of
Girl Who
those?
Lived Through Time, Kill la Kill,
That one?
Kanan, Ogre Proxy, Claymore, Yojo Senki, Ghost in the Shell, Violet
That one?
Evergarden, Nazuma
That one?
Daio,
That
Maiden
one?
Abyss, Nana,
No.
Shoujo Kakume Utena, Yona of the Dawn, Ascendants of a Bookworm, Psychopaths, Black Lagoon, Certain Scientific Railgun, Haibana Denmechi, Hayafuru, My Neighbor Totoro, Little Witch Academia, Hibiki Euphonium, Ancient Magus Bride, Nichijou, Blood Plus, Blood Sea, Kata no Kyokai, Kiki's Delivery Service, House Moving Castle, Nausicaa, Spirited Away, Suzumiya Haruhi no Yutsu, Soul on a Free Reign, Lovely Complex, Fruits Basket, Princess Tutu, Perfect Blue, Oran High School Host Club, Carol and Tuesday, Apothecary Diaries, Bocce the Rock, Keep Your Hands Off Ezoken, Dead Dead Demons, Dead Destruction, Ghost Sick, Wolf Children, Georgia Part 6, Moribito, Shirobako, Bloom Into You, Kino no Tabi, Humanity Has Declined, Slayers, Uma Musume. Damn. I guess we do need more female anime protagonists, huh?
Okay. Like, I mean, I just counted. I've seen 14 of those. So again, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Hold on. Princess Redive. Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. Let's see. While I haven't seen the full series, but I have seen episodes. Uma, you're in the way, a cosmic. Oh shit. Was I? I'm in the way of what? What am I in the way of? Chainsaw Princess, Destruction Princess. Oh yeah. By the way, Rosa. Okay, yeah. So, out of the things he mentioned, I've actually seen 14 of them, definitely, right? So again, that's just complete fucking hogwash with what these morons are saying. Okay.
But it gets so much worse. So then you have users like this saying, I genuinely groan whenever I see that MF, whenever he decides to be a weirdo on the internet. Well, number one,
anime belongs to the weirdos. It's literally, like, otaku have been considered weird since, like, even in Japan since the beginning. Our culture is not your costume. Get the fuck out of here, tourist. Right? Revoke the tourist green card in the anime field. Exactly. Deport all the tourists. Never mind me, a cosmic. Yours not in the way. Okay, fair. Let's see. Done a long time ago. Astral Shift made a pocket mirror. Goody Two Shoes. Hell Maiden. Dante's Inferno, but anime and lesbian. Oh, good luck. Astralist games are dripping with shoujo lesbian sparkles and drama. Uma Musume is the only one from the list I haven't seen. Go Sick was an amazing read. I thought we was just continuing the vid and Revs plays the vid. No, he laid down the challenge, so I was like, fuck it, I'll do it now, right? I'm weird, so what? Yeah, exactly. All of us, right? I counted ones I haven't seen any of and I got 3. I watched a stupid amount while I was in college. Honestly, excellent time to watch anime, because like when you got a job sometime, because especially like if you've got a job and then you're trying to do a hobby on the side and then you're trying to do other things, if you let too much things pile up, it gets harder to watch the anime, right? I've been watching weird anime since I was a kid. Based since the dawn of entertainment, the otaku has always been the weird section. Exactly. Kind of want to find these tweets and fuck with them. Hold on. Feel free to pause the video to write it down, but oh, that's the wrong one. There you go. There is the it's yeah, there's the thing. So take a screenshot. They played on TV on Saturday afternoons. Absolutely. You forgot So I'm a Spider. So what? Ooh. Unless the Japanese name was used. Yeah, I didn't see the Japanese name. Oran High School Host Club, by the way, is fucking great.
Your feed is reflected by the algorithm, meaning if you keep consuming people you hate, that is what your algorithm is going to show you. Therefore, that's why you have this on your timeline, despite, I guess, hating this weirdo. And also speak.
As a Yuri fan, I am definitely gonna like make an effort to watch Bloom Into You soon. But I definitely again I would really suggest for people to watch Jetagar, because Jetagar is actually quite good so far. It's actually faster to ask in Otaku which anime they haven't watched than what they have. Yeah, if they're not counting in real time, right?
Speaking of weirdos on the internet, thank you for your opinion, Yaoi Jail Priest.
And they got the fucking Arab the Arab activist flag in their bio too. Who would have fucking guessed, right? Who would have fucking guessed? I like Yuri and I draw it, but I don't go out of my way to look for it. It's a Yuri. Yeah, I'm a big Yuri fan. Let's see.
With a bunch of activism in their bio. This is the modern they/she anime fan from 2026 who is judging you for actually consuming anime.
I am not going to be taking any kind of shit from someone who from someone who actually is like, yes, I read yaoi. I gave yaoi a chance. I gave it a fair shake. I read the ones that people said were the greats. That literally it lived up to the fucking name of no plot, no purpose, no climax. Right? Why the fuck would I read this? Let's see. Really just self-reporting right from the start, huh? Exactly, right?
But here's another one saying, get this predator off.
They said pedophile, by the way, not predator.
My timeline, bro. He talks like the human nerd emoji. I physically cringe in disgust when he puts his glasses on trying to look cool.
I don't think he's trying to look cool. I think he's just trying to make a point that, again, he's actually more read and more educated on the topic to the other person. It's not a cool thing. He puts the glasses on to signify it's like, yes, I am the nerd here, right? I am the one who knows what he's talking about. Unlike this jackass, right? Oh my god. Their boos mean nothing. We know what makes them cheer. Yeah, we all remember the bear fucking from Baldur's Gate. On it starting some shit, lol, yeah. I'm judging, not out loud, but definitely. I'm judging out loud. These people are fucking morons, and he should take on, and he should remove. I'm gonna remove chat for a moment again. He should remove the image of Rogue from fucking X-Men off of his fucking platform. Rogue deserves better than this dickhead. We all know that if Rogue was a real if Rogue had experienced anime, she'd probably fucking love it. I'm not gonna lie, right? Lol, my hobbies pile up all the time. Anime, manga, indie comics, MTG, gunplas. I have so many to build sitting in my room. Fair. Astarion is the best character in Baldur's Gate 3. I have not played Baldur's Gate 3. I heard about the bear fucking and I was like, I'm sure it's a good game. But out of principle, I'm just not going to play it.
Very interesting. Again, average tourist behavior. Labeling someone as a predator over anime. Well, of course...
They took the cake from Rogue. You mentioned that like, you love Rogue killing all of. They took Rogue's cake, and I have never forgiven them for that.
Being a massive hypocrite themselves, you just take a quick look at their account, and one of their recent reposts is arts from Panty and Stocking, which of course is an anime that is hypersexualized, featuring high school age students, making this person what? By their own standard. I know I've really beaten this stuff to death recently, but a lot of people have been spouting off about anime, trying to...
I know you can avoid it completely. I'm just being a bit of a shitter. Right? At some point, I will play Baldur's Gate. I'm just being a bit of a shitter.
Label people as predators over the medium while being hypocrites themselves, but it just keeps happening, and like, what else am I supposed to do other than just shine a light on this hypocrisy? But let's continue on. Another quote saying, one of these characters is a grown man reincarnated as a fascist. Put that loser in a brazen bowl already. Oh,
I understand why they're all this hyperbolic. So part of the reason they're hyperbolic like this, right, is because you can actually get paid for interactions on Twitter. So like they're actually monetarily incentivized to be dickheads on Twitter, to be perfectly honest. And that's one of the reasons they do this. The other reason is a lot of these people just actually fucking hate you, right? There is actually and we all saw this with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but a lot of us were privy to this before the assassination of Charlie Kirk as well, right? But yeah, no, just a large contingent of these colonialists or neo-colonialists actually just do genuinely hate you and would actually do terrible things to you if they could actually get away with it. Which is why they have these violent fantasies, right? Put them in a brazen bull, right? Put them in a bronze like cage and then light them on fire from below, right? Cook them as if literally do to them what just the otaku what the Germans did to the Jews, right? Fucking gas them in the oven with smoke. These are again they're just horrendous people. Again, we've seen what makes them cheer. Their boos mean nothing to us. In fact, I would go so far as to say I want to see them actually like completely fail. I want to see them actually mauled and seethe as anime continues to be great and they have no standing in any kind of anime community. But that's just me, right? I want to see total tourist destruction. Let's see. Community note them all.
Oh, wow. Some more conventional 2026 anime.
Yeah, Tanya isn't even a fascist. Even if, right? Even if Tanya was an actual Nazi, let's just give this as like a premise, right? Still wouldn't be a fascist because Nazis aren't fascists. Nazis are totalitarians. Fascism is a very specific totalitarian ideology, so it'd still be fucking wrong. Let's see. They took her cake in the remake sequel. She has it in Rivals. Yeah, no, they definitely toned down the cake in the sequel. My laptop can't play Baldur's Gate 3 or Black Myth. It makes me cry. Honestly, understandable reaction. I haven't played Black Myth Wukong. Probably going to be a while before I can. He lies as easily as he breathes. He won't play Baldur's. He hasn't played the first two. I thought, wait, is there Baldur's Gate 1 and 2? I just genuinely don't know. Community note them all, and an anime whose dub has the two biggest harpies of anime dubbing. Like, you watch that? Yeah, I laid with the bear. Why? Every tourist ever. God damn it. Referring to Auntie and Panty and Stocking had to fight autocorrect for a while, so there was a delay. Understandable. I will say, as far as like Panty and Stocking goes, best of the Anarchy sisters, Stocking. But while Stocking is superior to Panty, the Demon sisters mog the Anarchy sisters. And Knee-Sock's Demon is objectively the best girl in that series. Just objectively speaking, right? I'm just saying, objectively speaking, if you had to pick a waifu, Knee-Sock's Demon is the best of the waifus. Let's see. Starting to wonder if we should say after CK. Say years after CK. Let's see. Busy talking about anime. I didn't know my bedtime had arrived, but I can last on 4 hours of sleep. Oh, don't deprive yourself of sleep, right? If you need to sleep, go to sleep. Only product from tourists that actually made a profit in Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Oh, good lord. Can find the first one's X account. May have changed their shit or privated. Oh, can't. They always do this, don't they? What do you think the 3 stands for? That's a good question. I don't actually see a 3 on here. BD 1 and 2 are pretty old. Yeah. I can play Baldur's Gate. Let's see. 1 and 2. I have it also. Love Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Why was the inventor of the Brazen Bull executed? For it. He was asked to invent it. To be fair, he wasn't asked to invent the bull specifically. There was an expectation in Greek society that certain degrees of torture were just not acceptable. There are actually myths, and there's actually a mythological basis for this. It has to do with the fact that even cannibalism in the Greek world was just seen as beyond the pale. There's like myths about exactly this kind of thing justifying it. Nisox is the one with the glasses. Yes, the one with the glasses. The one with the one horn, not the two horns, right? Fuck yeah, beast. Based. Let's see, CK being Charlie Kirk. Oh, yes. A Cosmic is a game tourist, confirmed. Get him, boys. I never said I was a gamer. I play very specific games. Never said I was a gamer.
Fan behavior right here. Threatening violence and wishing harm upon someone for doing what exactly, by the way? Answering a question. Okay, this TikTok was...
Well, he made her look like a fucking idiot, and that's why they're taking umbrage with it, right?
Making the claim that there's not a lot of anime with female protagonists, and Joey responds with a list contradicting that claim, and now you want him to die.
I would say that we could actually do this without mentioning any of the films, right? Even if we wanted to take films out, which, by the way, some of the female-led films are fucking amazing, right? Suzume is actually beautiful, right? But even if we took out all the films, we could have gone on and on and on with series, right? Neither of us mentioned fucking Creamy Mommy, right? You want to go all the way, you want to go back into the ancient times, right? Fucking, those are examples.
What are we doing? What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? But, of course, all of this is just a very simple TikTok.
I think you're being generous about, like, the 5 anime series. I don't know if she's even watched 5 anime.
Problem raised, response
very bad at turn-based games. Understandable.
People are crashing out. In fact, they're crashing out so hard, they're trying to community note the related post. You can see the original poster saying, "Holy crap, these losers are trying to note my retweet because I joked she only watched 5 anime. It's still my opinion that she hasn't watched much anime." And of course, people are...
I mean, yeah, that's obviously hyperbolic, right? I would say I actually wouldn't be surprised if she hasn't watched 5 anime. I wouldn't be surprised about that, but it would also not surprise me either, right? You could just be in, again, as everyone else has said here, she could have just only watched battle manga, like Dragon Ball and that kind of stuff. So like, yeah, if that kind of stuff is your only exposure, then yeah, I could see how you might not know anything about it. Like, oh, why would someone who only watches Battle Shonen know anything about, like, Witch Hat Atelier, right? Why would they fucking know anything about that?
Are very mad in the quotes, saying, "She said more, dummy. Do you know what more means?" I think we all know what she meant, okay? She was making a very blanket statement about anime, trying to say there's not a lot of anime with female protagonists, and he responded.
Yeah, so Rev is absolutely obviously right. I think all of us understand this, right? Like, Rev is very obviously right. Oftentimes, people will say something and they don't mean what is literally said, right? Very often, people don't speak literally, right? Like, again, the very obvious implication of what she was saying, and the reason why she said it was like, oh yeah, there's not very many anime with female protagonists, so we need more of them. That was the implication, right? That was the connotation, not necessarily the strict, like, literal reading of the text. But oftentimes when we speak, we don't speak literally, right? We oftentimes kind of like, we speak, I don't want to say like in obfuscation, but like treating human speech as like just literal statements is oftentimes not, it's just not how people speak. We all know this.
But this post would get 84,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen.
I have a sneaking suspicion some of these accounts are botting likes. Like, it wouldn't exactly be all... Like, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way that, like, 84,000 people actually, like that particular comment. Just, all you have to do is go out in the wild and have a conversation with real people and realize, yeah, there's no fucking way 88... there's no way on earth that many people actually went out of their way to like this. No, that's very clearly botted.
Here's another one saying, blatantly misogynistic. If you think her saying there needs to be more female protagonists means that she hasn't seen any anime with female protagonists, what are we doing here? Genuinely.
There's literally an entire demographic for exactly what she's asking about, right? And even outside of that demographic, it's not that hard to find seinen or shonen manga, which happens to have, for example, a female lead. I'll give you an example of a seinen manga that, well, it's not an anime, and this would make a great anime, by the way. A seinen manga that has a female lead, and I would really want this to be an anime at some point. Teppu. Teppu is a seinen manga which focuses on mixed martial arts. And it has a female lead. It's really fucking well written. There's not an official English translation, so I had to read it scanlated, but I have a physical copy of the entire series in Japanese. And I would fucking love to see that be an anime. But there are Frieren, for example, is very objectively not a shonen. It's a seinen anime. And it's a female lead. So it's not exactly that hard to find any. So again, these people are just exposing how they have no fucking idea what they're talking about. They're not being honest about it. They know they're not being honest about it, and they know that you know they're not being honest about it. But they're still gonna fucking play this game. Tourist, random bullshit statement, go, right?
Yep, they brought out the big M word, misogynistic, but it gets worse.
Yeah, it's another one of those words, like, again, racist, sexist, homophobic. They know it's that esoteric exoteric distinction I keep telling people about, right? I bring it up very often because, again, if there's a new viewer, they need to understand this. But a lot of these people, the way that they talk, there's two different definitions to the words they use. So when they say something, it'll mean something different to the person who's uninitiated in their bullshittery and a person who is initiated in their bullshittery, right? To the outsider, it will mean one thing. To the insider, it will mean something else. And to the insider, when you call someone one of these bad man words, they're not actually saying that they believe that you have these viewpoints. Rather, what they're saying is that this is a target that has been marked for reputational and life ruination, right? When they call you a misogynist, they don't necessarily mean that they think you're actually a misogynist. They're just saying, this is one of our enemies. He can be destroyed. Let's see. Buhukli says, why won't they give us 1,000% control of their media? Right? I'm not interested in their social alchemy.
Quote saying, imagine trying to prove that anime has female protagonists by going all the way back to the 90s. For example, if you can't name 10 anime from 2026 with female protagonists, there's an issue.
I am about to ruin this bitch's whole day. Hold on. Let's see. Frieren Beyond Journey's End season 2, I think, released this year, right? There's Oshino Ko season 3. Champion Witch. There's Journal with Witch. Let's see. The villainess is adored by the prince of the neighbor kingdom. Tis Time for Torture, Princess season 2. Star Detective Precure. Let's see. You and I are polar opposites. There's Witch Hat Atelier, which I mentioned earlier. Ascendants of a Bookworm, adopted daughter of an Archduke, which I think he brought up earlier, right? Agents of the Four Seasons, Dance of Spring. Magical Sisters, Lulu to Lily. Let's see. Warrior Princess of the Barbarian King. Or Barbaric King, I think it is. I haven't actually watched that one, so the title is a little bit wonky in my head. Needy Girl Overdose. I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class. The most heretical Last Boss Queen season 2. An observation log of my fiance who calls himself a villainess. The Saga of Tanya the Evil 2. Again, we have Puella Magi Madoka Magica, while Purgishnock Rising coming out today. Not today, but this year. We have, let's see, trying to think. I could probably come up. Target acquired, right? I mean, obviously, Apothecary Diary Season 3 is another one that comes up. If we're talking about female lead films, too, we got, like, Cosmic Princess Kaguya. We got, like, Sound Euphonium, the final movie. I think Maiden Abyss Awakening Mystery would also be one. Witch on the Holy Night, right? I'm pretty sure all of these are like 2026 anime, are they not? Like, I haven't double checked it, but I'm pretty sure all of these are 2000. Isn't like the Ribbon Hero also coming out this fucking year? So it's like, what the fuck are we doing? I'm pretty sure if you went back and counted, that's more than 10 anime. So again, I'm pretty sure I just like very effortlessly fucking BTFO this inquiry. Fuck off, bitch.
Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure people could. And second of all, if you're shaming someone for bringing up examples of anime from the 90s in a bad way, tourist, again. Like, these people...
I didn't even think about... This isn't 2026. But again, another female lead. Gotcha Man crowds. Another female lead anime that I don't think any of us, like, thought about. Can I choose Death by Snoo Snoo instead of hearing all the list?
Blame COVID. That's right, I blame COVID, ladies and gentlemen.
What we call this in debate is a proof by demonstration, right?
This is a very, very big problem, but let's move on to the next
Cosmic
quote.
Princess
saying
Kaguya.
this is mansplaining, not just massage.
There's a fucking trans ideology flag in the bio, unsurprisingly.
But mansplaining as well. This is a man who believes he knows more than you and will not let his knowledge on anime go unnoticed.
Well, objectively, he does know more than you. Joey, the anime man, knows more about anime than I do, right? And I'm pretty sure I just mogged the previous person, right? I'm pretty sure I mogged basically everyone complaining about this. What the fuck are we doing here? If I can mog you and Joey knows more about this shit than I do, then yes, he objectively knows more about this than any of these fuckers.
Imagine being this individual telling people to stop mansplaining. The bio.
Oh my god, this retard again has the fucking Arab. He has the political Arab flag, and he has the fucking trans ideology flag. Fucking hell, mate. Every fucking time. I mean, I explained in a previous video why this actually makes sense from their worldview, but it does not cease to frustrate me. I mean, Joey just proved the cosplayer and her defender is wrong, so splain away, right? Exactly, right? It's like, no, if you're gonna make a stupid point like this and then someone else could just immediately come in and show that you're talking out your ass, why shouldn't they immediately fucking mansplain and make you look like an idiot, right? I don't know, maybe I'm being harsh, but I think I'm not being harsh enough, right? Some people may say I'm being a little bit mean. I'm saying I can be way fucking meaner. I just don't necessarily want to, right? You mogged me at Cosmic? I don't really... I don't think so. I just think it's like... Again, I have the benefit of also being surrounded by anime, right? I literally... In my space, I have a fucking library of DVDs and, like, manga right next to me, right? So it's like, if I turn my head, I can fucking come up with shit. Or it's like something will remind me of something that I may have forgotten earlier, right? Like, I'm pretty sure I brought up Witchblade earlier. But that's because it's literally a Witchblade DVD right there next to me.
The quote. The jokes write themselves. Also, a commie larper. Many such cases.
Oh, I didn't even notice it. They got the ACAB, the all cops are bastard commie. Like, oh my god. I hate these people. Like, I would rather them not be communists, but at the same time, if they choose to be communists, I want them to suffer complete and total defeat. Oh, speaking of trans, have you watched Buck Angel's YouTube channel? I've seen a couple Buck Angel videos. I probably should do a reaction to a Buck Angel video at some point. And I probably should do a reaction to a Blair White video. But I've seen basically all Blair White videos, so it would probably be more of like a commentary on the video than a proper reaction.
But here's another quote saying, now list all male protagonists.
And actually, speaking of trans stuff, right? Wandering Sun, depending on whether or not these people think of trans misogyny, Wandering Sun is about a biological male who wants to become female, and a biological female who wants to become male, one of which, by the way, actually grows out of it. So, like, this is one of the things that kind of annoys, like, the trans ideology people, is, like, sometimes when, like, the gender dysphoria is actually addressed in manga, they will actually just, like, explore it as it is instead of making it ideological, right? But in Wandering Sun, which has an anime, by the way, you have a trans from their logic, it would be a trans girl, right? So there's even trans girl anime out there. These people just are too fucking lazy to find it, right? Gotta hate these people.
And wonder why women want more
brainwashed useful idiots do not know critical thinking. Oh, they definitely don't.
Female protagonists. It's really amazing how just an opinion gets ridiculed by incels. Oh, ding, 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 another buzzword.
Anytime someone uses incel, again, they're not actually saying you can't get any, because they'll call married men, like Rev, incels, right? Even though, again, I don't want to speculate in anything, but, in order for a marriage to be valid, you have to consummate the marriage, which means you're not celibate, right? But critical thinking, as you said, these people aren't used to critical thinking in the way you think of, right? Or you and me think of. They're used to critical thinking in the sense of, like, tearing down something, not actually examining premises to understand how they work, and then constructing arguments and syllogisms, with precision to actually understand something. Their version of critical thinking is simply the ruthless criticism, i.e. deconstruction of all that exists, which was a Marxian idea that was very specifically one of Marx's ideas, the ruthless criticism of all that exists. These people are fucking obnoxious.
Because God forbid women like watching anime as well. We get it. You hate seeing women unless they're there for fan service.
Again, if you don't want fan service, you could watch Haibane Renmei. You could watch Little Witch Academia, both of which, by the way, fucking Joey mentioned. Again, this bitch doesn't know anything about what she's talking about. They'll call men who are married with kids incels. Their arguments mean nothing. Again, it's because they don't mean what it sounds like to the outsider. What they mean is this person is marked for reputational and life ruination. That's what it is. Again, anytime that they use these insults, they're not actually calling you those things. They are trying to... What they're doing is they're using that someone unfamiliar with these tactics, right? A normie will hear this, and then they'll discredit you based on the accusation as being that thing. But at the same time, the inner crowd, the people who are initiated, will hear this and understand that you're a target now, right? That's the actual function here. That's why the esoteric-exoteric distinction is used the way that it is. It's critical theory, nothing in common. Yes, it is critical theory, yes, but they will call this critical thinking, right? Again, it's that esoteric-exoteric distinction. When they talk about critical thinking, they mean critical theory. When you say it, you mean actually using reason, right? But that's another example of the esoteric-exoteric distinction. It's just not used for reputational destruction in this case. More of in the case of like obfuscating to the outsider what's actually being said.
There's no way you're talking about that.
Oh, and the thing I was going to bring up though, is, isn't it so funny that all these people will criticize people for, again, the fan service thing, right? Like, you just want fan service. You just want you just want the sexy stuff, right? And then they'll be like, oh yeah, you're an incel, right? Like, okay, so the value of a person is completely determined by whether or not you can get laid. Interesting that the anti-fan service person is the one positing this fucking conversation. These are intrinsically unserious people, and these people are an example of why universal suffrage was a mistake.
Look at the profile picture of the person saying this. Are you kidding me? Is there no self-awareness among these users? No, there's none. Well, let's move.
There is, but they just don't care. Again, they don't mean these things in the sense that, like, you hear it. They're saying something totally different while at the same time... they're saying something totally different to you, Rev, as they are to the people that actually agree with them. There's two different conversations going on. And this is something that happens very often with cults, and this happens also very often with ideologies. Please, I want sexy. I think we all want sexy, right? Look, man, I want there to be, like, fan service for men and women, right? Let's see. That's he's getting in the way of her money. Yeah.
Move on to another one.
She wants to, again, these people want to grift, and then people who are actually care about reality and truth come in and is like, oh, well, we can't have that, right?
Saying she's not wrong. He literally just cited unknown animes.
Even if you haven't seen these, if you're at all in the anime community, you've probably at least heard of the vast majority of these, right? The ones at least Joey cited are decently well known, right? And basically everyone in the anime community knows them. Like, I brought up a couple of them that a lot of people know about, but it might not be all that well known, right? Like, Neo Ranga has kind of flown under the radar for a lot of people, even in the anime community. And, like, again, there's other ones we could have brought up. Like, we could have brought up Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. There's another one. Fucking, like, yeah, you could say Jean is the fucking, like, lead of the story, but the story is named Nadia, right? That is, like, she takes up just as much screen time as he does. Yeah, she wasn't the first person introduced in the story. The story is about her, right? She is effectively a lead, if not one of the there's two leads of the story, Jean and Nadia, but she is a lead.
He cited unknown animes. Yeah, guys, nobody's ever heard of the anime that Joey listed. Yeah, no serious anime fan has ever heard of these niche, obscure anime. This is tourism on steroids, ladies and gentlemen. But let's move on to another one.
Hold on, I want to read the rest of that, because, hold on. He literally just cited unknown animes. First of all, stop saying animes, it's anime. And for good reason. Sexualization, story guessed to death. First of all, Haibane Renmei has no sexual content in it whatsoever. Neither does Little Witch Academia, which is on the screen right now if you look at it. So, again, this person is talking out of their ass. And let's see. Yeah, there are stories with female protag, but in shonen, that's the kicker right here. They want it to be in shonen because they actually don't care about female-led protagonists. They care about taking over male spaces, which, by the way, I think Mind of Raw brought up earlier. Let's see. Kianano says disingenuous. It's all a grift. It is all a grift. Then a grift in, like, the honest sense of, like, again, saying something you don't believe to again, gain favor or an advantage. None find me, even one without there, not being a man, not far. I'm pretty sure if you ask Grok to find you, like, anime that is shonen with a female lead, it will do it.
Steroids, ladies and gentlemen. But let's move on to another one. Every time I see videos like these, I'm reminded that Anime Expo post where all the men were forced to mingle amongst themselves at speed dating events because no women showed up. I mean, I guess that, like, sucks for them. Like, what is your point here? Genuinely, what is your point? I don't get it, but...
Yeah, I'm not... Again, it's a non sequitur, and they know it's a non sequitur, but they're not saying it to address the point. They're saying to shift the goalpost from the actual conversation to be a personal attack, right? It's working on power shift Bolshevism, right?
Here's another one saying, incels, Casey Tronol, having a problem with women saying we need more female anime protagonists, and a dude who loves lollies twisting her words and beginning to list animes. Why do they all say animes?
They say animes because they know nothing about Japan or anime, right? They don't understand the culture, and they don't understand that within otaku culture, basically around the world, no one says animes. They say anime. It is a uniplural word, right? And it's the same thing with, like, manga. You don't say mangas, you often say manga as uniplural, right? But anyway, yeah, but they wouldn't know any of this because they have no connection to any of this. They don't know anything about, like, the anime community. They don't know about the actual material that's being made, that's being consumed. They don't know anything about the people who actually consume this stuff. All they want is to be able to co-opt it for their own purposes.
It's crazy. Like,
And also, if you hate lolly, then you have no space in the anime community anyway, because first of all, everyone I've ever met who hates lolly does not seem to understand that the fascination with lolly is not always sexual, first of all. Second of all, again, if you can't tell the difference between reality and and fantasy, you deserve to be in the box anyway, right? I don't care if you're the guy who's like, oh yeah, I can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy regarding, like, again, lollies versus, like, children, and like, if you can't tell the difference there, go in the box. You deserve to be in the box. If you can't tell the difference between fiction and reality, and the fact that there is a distinction in effect between fiction and reality, and that fiction does not actually impact reality unless someone is fucking mentally disturbed, then yes, you should go in the box too. I'm cutting both ways. If you cannot tell the difference between fiction and reality in either way, go into the box. You are the very reason that we can't fucking have nice things.
peeve, but anyways. Like, we know you losers don't want more female protagonists. That is not true.
Yeah.
True. Introduce an anime with a likable female protagonist, and anime fans are very happy. In fact, they're more happy in most cases, but this is peak tourism, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm glad that Joey responded very appropriately, and I'm glad that people are crashing out because, well...
And guess what? The female lead doesn't even have to be perfect. Anyone here watched Anthem of the Heart? It's a fucking great film, right? And the main character is not exactly perfect, right?
We could farm the response.
Yakitori was an interesting anime. Main character followed was male, but the mix of male and female important characters was 50-50. So even, perfectly balanced, as all things should be, right?
This is for a video. But anyways, that's going to do this video. If you enjoyed, please consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing, and turning on notifications for daily uploads, as well as multiple streams every week live on YouTube. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
It's going to be interesting to see how long it takes for someone to actually point out, like, wait a minute. Why did you, in your list of female protagonist anime, why did you mention this one? Right? Because I gave a couple of joke and a couple of sus anime in my listing just to see how long it takes someone to actually figure out which ones are which. But because I'm a bit of a shitter and I like to fuck with people sometimes, so I wonder how long that's going to take for someone to point that out. But yeah, so that is. I generally agree with what Rev says. I obviously had a lot to say outside of what Rev and Leaflet said about these issues, but yeah, we got one L for Joey, and we got one W for Joey. So again, perfectly balanced, as all things should be, right? All right, so